we actually get into the game, there's a couple things I wanted to talk about. D&D generally, in the game specifically. So I think I touched with some of this on you guys on running a game that's a little more historical and a little less fantasy, and how alignment works into that. So most people are not going to be necessarily good or evil. They're probably generally good people, but good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things. So don't take the detect alignment stuff is going to be pretty wishy-washy. It will work on like undead or evil, right? There's no demons or evil. But for kind of the guy walking down the street, it's not going to give you you know the read on everybody around you because most people are gray. So it's kind of only going to work in extreme circumstances. So keep that in mind on any of the spells that are like protection from evil or protection from good or detect evil, detect good. That's a little more limited in the setting that we're using. Does anybody want me to do an intro on the history, or did we read that and we're comfortable with it and we can jump in?
I think like a little bit of a rundown wouldn't be a bad thing,
Okay,
especially for anyone who might be watching.
cool. We'll do that. That'll be the last thing we do before we
Okay.
go. Oh, other than Grendel, so Jason and Jeremy, I did wealth incorrectly. You weren't supposed to get your starting equipment and your starting wealth. It was one or the other. So you're only supposed to start with the wealth that was part of your background, but I'm not going to make you go through that. So whatever wealth you have right now, zero it out. And
Alrighty.
Well, I went through and I did the alternate where I took the wealth and bought all my stuff.
so you didn't use any of the starting equipment.
Correct.
Okay, so you're good. In that case, Jason, zero out your wealth and roll 3d4.
Let's see.
So on the side, you type in /roll 3d4. So that's how much gold you have.
7 gold total.
7 gold total.
Okay. But do you want me to keep all of the stuff in the inventory that I had, like the
All of the equipment's fine.
Okay.
This is just like your coin, your money on hand.
All right.
How much you got in your wallet? I wanted to talk about hit points, and this is going to a little bit reflect in how I describe combat, which is actually I think a kind of a difficult thing for a DM to do, especially with humanoid creatures. Like if you have a dragon with 200 hit points, it makes sense why a dragon would have 200 hit points. But if you've got a human and a human here, and one is 15th level and one is second, and they both get hit with a D8 longsword, it's kind of a weird concept that one of them gets dropped and the other one looks at you like nothing happened, right? They're still human and they still got hit with the longsword. So I kind of wanted to put it in everybody's head, especially with humanoids, that hit points isn't necessarily how hard they're hit with the weapon. It's a combination of how hard they're hit, but also the person getting hit, how tough they are physically. Maybe all their experience has allowed them to move and shrug off the blow so it wouldn't cripple him like it would somebody else. Maybe a combination of dumb luck. The way it describes it in the player's handbook is a hero isn't even necessarily showing signs of being injured until they're at least half their hit points. So even though you're, taking damage, if you're still above half your health, your character wouldn't show any outward signs of it. So, when we're talking about damage and hit points, if it helps the visualization, I always think it's fascinating to kind of talk about that.
One way I heard it described is I had a DM who used to use a wound system.
Wound vitality
basically.
system. I thought about it actually.
And he was like, you're not actually getting hit until you get into your wounds. You're blocking, parrying.
Exactly right. D&D Star Wars, the one we used to play, ran the same thing. You always had basically your number of wounds was your Constitution score, and then your vitality was what we refer to as hit points. That's what would go up. So your vitality was actually like how adept you were at avoiding damage, right?
Well, right, because there's only one way a lightsaber goes when it hits you.
Right. So, when we describe combat, or when I describe combat, if you kind of keep that in mind as the kind of proper way to visualize what's going on, right? Because if a first level wizard gets hit with a D8 longsword, he's in a lot of trouble. And if a fifth level fighter does, he probably doesn't care a whole lot, right? Did everybody watch the "Don't Taunt the DM: A Lesson in Consequences" video I put up?
Yes, it was hilarious.
It was
No.
hilarious. Okay, so the basic one, it was funny, but it talked about there was a message behind it. He talked about the mentality of the DM and the players and how you should look at player death. And in a game where players are invincible, that's not as fun for anybody. Not that I want to kill you guys, but part of the fun for me is challenging you and watching you guys overcome the challenge. And part of the fun as a PC is getting put in these situations and feeling like you have to work to get out of it, right? If you just cut through everybody, that's no fun. So I'm not trying to kill you, but I'm not going to save you a lot either. You guys are a little bit on your own. I'm going to try to be fair with everything, but if the danger isn't there, then why are we playing, right? So kind of keep that in mind. If I present a situation to you and it seems like you shouldn't be fighting, you probably shouldn't be fighting. It's
Nope,
possible.
fighting.
It's possible I would make you interact with things that you have no business having combat with, right? So definitely
Tiamat?
right, definitely. Well, even in fifth edition, they kind of killed the power curve, right? So even if you get to mid level, a horde of goblins is a threat. Like eventually they're going to overwhelm you. So use your head. Not every fight has to go to the death, right? If you're losing and you can theoretically withdraw and get away, there's nothing wrong with that. So kind of keep those things in mind.
Some people might even let you surrender.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Sometimes
The
going to
best way-
jail is better than dying.
Right.
I mean, a dragon probably doesn't give a fuck, but the bandits will be like, you throw down your sword, they go like, all right, we're gonna take all your coin, and then that's that, or however.
Right.
And last thing, so this is specifically a spell situation, I think is where this is going to come up mostly. But really in any of these books, they have, I mean, there's a lot of rules in here, right? So there's going to come up times where maybe we're not sure about the rule, maybe the situation isn't explicitly covered, and in the case of spells, that there's a lot of these spells are open ended and subject to interpretation. So I want everyone to stay within the spirit of the game. A good example, I've been watching these little DM videos is the DM had a polymorph spell, and the guy's like, well, I'm going to turn into an ant and then resume my form. Or I'm going to turn into an ant, walk into the guy's ear, and then resume my form and have his head explode. Well, that made polymorph into like power word kill, right? You're using a lower level spell, not how it's intended to mimic the consequences of a higher one. It's kind of out of the spirit of the rules, even though I suppose it would be like technically allowed, right? So
Well, the argument you could make there is an ant has an intellect of 1.
Thank you. You're taking the Matt Mercer approach. You turn into a moth and you get distracted for an hour. GG.
when you polymorph, you retain your intelligence. You're still you.
The creature you turn into with polymorph does not retain your stats. That's wild shape.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
But and another one
So
was
an ant wouldn't think, oh, I'll go walk in that guy's ear. You would
Right.
just get distracted and go try and carry some food home.
And I don't think you can wild shape into vermin, which an ant would qualify as.
Anyway.
That's a good question. But the other one was like Mage Hand has a lot of weird applications, but it specifically says you can't attack people. But that doesn't mean you couldn't use it to pull a lever on a trap to make the bad guys fall into something, right? So there are creative and totally great ways to do this, and you guys should be creative and do those things.
You could drop a bucket on a guy's head with Mage Hand.
Probably other better ways to cause damage than that, but yes.
Not to one's pride.
So that's kind of the thing with rules, and especially if you get into disagreements on it, we don't want to bog the game down over like rules lawyering. A lot of time we may kind of judge in the moment and then move on and kind of understand that this is how we're handling it now, but after the game we'll talk about it, and maybe in the future we might end up handling it differently, because we're all here to have fun. I'm not a huge fan of power gaming. Not that I don't want you guys to be like powerful characters, but to me, like the role playing and all the stuff that goes along with it is like the draw to it, rather than figuring out the best way to maximize your numbers, you know. And
Yeah, I gotta focus on that.
yeah, yeah,
So-
you really do. And I think that's lastly, I touched on it in the campaign setting. Resurrections. I'm still not sure how exactly I want to handle resurrections. I don't think you guys are quite at the point where we're going to worry about it yet.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to level 3 spells.
Well, before then, actually. But before next session, I will have figured out how we're going to do resurrections. There's a couple ways I'm thinking of, just kind of so you know. One, I'm contemplating disallowing any resurrection spells other than true resurrection. Or two, implementing some kind of rule where a soul can only be pulled back through the veil once. So like maybe you could be resurrected one time, or any person could be resurrected one time.
The Jesus rule. Okay.
Kind of, yeah, something like that. So we'll touch on that next week, but I know I kind of alluded to it and there. Any other questions before we get going?
I can't think of any.
All right. So Galande is the continent where we're at, and the name of the world that I forget because I don't have it in front of me, but it's not relevant because we're not going to be using it that much. And
Mela.
yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. And let me get this out so I have the. There we go. And you fine people are in the country of Menande, which over the last 30 plus years has slowly been invaded and approximately 50% conquered by the Elven Kingdom of Falone. They relaunched their offensive about a year ago, and they're currently laying siege to the only major city left in the kingdom, the city of Terra. The king, King Philip, generally regarded as a pretty likable guy. He seems intelligent. Anybody that has seen him use his skills in combat says he's a good warrior. But he clearly has no interest in actually being a warrior. As soon as the siege started, King Philip packed up the treasury, packed up his royal guards, and went as far south as he possibly could to the very edge of the kingdom, actually to his mother, the Queen Mother's keep, where he has set up the king's court. And on his way out of Terra, he named his brother Prince Raoul defender of the realm, named him his marshal, and ordered him to hold Terra at all costs. Well, that's all well and good. Turns out Raoul, at least militarily, is everything his brother is not. He has defended Terra probably better than one could reasonably expect. He has beaten back numerous attempts at direct assault on the city. He has launched a number of forays and raids outside of the city to sabotage the setup of siege engines and siege weapons. But despite that, the city is now surrounded. The siege has been going on for almost a year. And the last big siege in the war was when the capital city of Aethen fell. And what brought that along was when the elves of Falone wheeled out their massive cannon in the world's first appearance of gunpowder and simply blew the walls open. And so it's kind of expected that it's only a matter of time before they wheel that thing down there and they do it again. They're going to blow the walls of Terra open. And at some point here in the near future, maybe in the next couple weeks, maybe in the next couple months, no matter how competent Prince Raoul is, no matter how valiant a warrior he is, the city is going to fall. And shortly after that, the kingdom will go down with it. That's kind of the last bastion of defense before there's nothing to hold Falone back. So that brings us to where we are now. Any questions before we get rolling?
Yeah. One question.
Only one.
That really big cannon, is it like the Dardanellus gun, basically? Like that big? Or
I'm not familiar with what is that?
the easiest way would be for you to Google it. It's a really big cannon.
You remember the one we were talking about in Scotland?
It's way bigger than Mons
Right.
Meg.
No, I actually looked up the what Mons Meg was capable of, and the stats on the Great Cannon in Galande are slightly beefed up versions of Mons Meg.
Okay.
I have a question. Do we have music?
Yes, thank you. We do. I actually spent most of my lunch doing this today. Let's see how loud this is, and let me know
That's
how
probably
loud it's
about
going.
right.
About right? Okay, there we go. Thank you,
Maybe
Ben.
down just like a notch or two.
And it will get a little louder too, because it kind of goes up and down.
Okay, there you go. That's about right.
Yeah. So the Great Cannon here can fire about a 400-pound cannonball at a range of just over 200 miles. But unlike reality, the elves have royal mages who find ways to enchant that cannonball. And so it's not just a giant rod of iron flying through the walls, it's all of the things they can do to enhance that cannonball. So it's here in the realm of fantasy and magic, it's got a little more chutzpah to it, you know?
Gotcha.
Stage is set. We ready to rock and roll?
Hell
Let's do
yeah.
it.
All right. Jason, Crench. It is a beautiful summer day. You have decided that because Sir Andre was injured yesterday in a hunt, he broke his leg, that you would go fishing and get a little bit of meat. You know, not quite the same as boar or deer, but you're going to walk north to the river, which is just to the north of Sir Andre's keep. You're going to get a little fish and surprise the household with something a little tasty. It's a beautiful summer day. The sky is blue. The weather is perfect. There's a light breeze. Fresh flowers. The smell of fresh flowers blooming, going through the air. I mean, you can't imagine a more perfect summer day to walk to the river and go fishing. And then to make matters even better, on your way there, you spot a boar.
Well, there we go. That's exactly the kind of thing I'm going for.
So, if you choose to go grab that thing, well, grab it, but hunt it, kill it, you will need to make a stealth check.
All right. So let's see. 20. And let's see.
Is he going to be hunting a boar with a battle axe? Because that's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean,
Stealth would be. Let's see. Where is stealth? Dexterity. So 11.
okay. I should have had this on the right. I thought I actually wrote down the things, stats in my little notebook here, but instead I just put a page. Let me bring it up. There we go. Its passive perception is 9. So you would succeed in sneaking up on it. Are you going to try to?
How far away? How far away am I seeing it?
Well, you would have seen it, say, 150 feet away. You spotted it. It's mostly plains here, lightly wooded, a tree here, a tree there, with maybe some knee-high grass, so it kind of blended in a little before you spotted it.
Can I tell if I'm downwind?
Make a, what would that be? Survival? I got the proficiencies. There's not wilderness anymore, because in 3.5 it was wilderness, so probably a survival.
I think it would be either
That sounds
survival
about
or
right.
nature, right?
I'm going to say survival.
Alrighty. So
You're using it as part of a hunting thing, so I'm going to say for survival.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's
survival would be 21.
You are downwind from it, which is where you would want to be to approach it to.
All right, so I am going to approach it up to about a range of I'm going to say about 60 to start.
All right. So now, as the master huntsman of Sir Andre's keep, you would know if you go in there and you hack it to pieces with your battle axe, it's a little bit of a harder butcher job than if you clean kill it with your javelin.
Yes.
Right. So, do we have the range on the javelin directly?
Javelin's actually 120. But I
Oh,
figured
perfect.
I'd get a little bit closer just in case
Is that the
I need
regular?
to chase it.
Does it have the double range listed, like the normal range, the long range, or does it just have one range?
The only range I saw on there was 30 to 120, but
So it says 30/120.
yeah, 30 to 120
So-
is the range. But
Right. So what that means is 30 is normal range, and if anything over 30 up to 120 is a disadvantage if you throw. So if you want to not be a disadvantage, you actually want to get up to 30 feet.
Okay. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get up to 30 then.
Okay, one more stealth check.
All right.
Perfect. You get up to within 30 feet. Get out your javelin. Gonna go for it?
Yep, I'm throwing.
All right, roll to attack.
All right, so that would be.
Ooh.
Do I get 6? So,
You get
but do I get strength and proficiency?
And proficiency. That's correct.
Okay, so I'm looking at a 10 to hit.
Would just wondering, would he get advantage due to the boar not being aware of his presence?
No, it's funny you brought that up. What I was going to say is normally this would be the first round of a combat, and we would be rolling initiative for this. But the boar, or I don't even know how they word it but either the boar is surprised or
It's a
French-
surprise round.
right.
Yeah.
French has surprise, not the round. But so for the first round, the boar wouldn't be able to act. So you rolled a 10. So you wind up, you huck the javelin, you think you hit it, and you do. But it bounces off the tough hide of the boar.
Aha.
Now we roll initiative.
Okay. 17 for initiative.
All right. You go again.
All right, so I'm now 30 feet away. So I'm
The
gonna
boar
use.
whips his head up, looks right at you.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my 30 feet of movement to run up to it, and
All
I'm
right.
gonna take a. I'm gonna go ahead and use my warhammer two-handed, and go ahead and swing away with it.
Okay, go ahead and roll to hit.
Oh,
Ooh. Come on! 11. 11 to hit.
11. You go out there, you swing, and even though you didn't quite get as much of it as you wanted, you solidly connect.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll for damage.
All right, so two-handed, that's going to be a D10. Plus my strength modifier, so 13 damage.
13 damage. You charge at it. You let out your blood-curdling barbarian scream. You raise the warhammer above your head, and you bring it straight down on the boar's skull for a clean kill.
Alrighty. I guess I'm dragging this thing back to the keep.
Whoa.
Whoa, wait. Okay.
You're dragging it?
Oh no, I guess I'll pick it up. Yeah.
You're just gonna pick that. Jeremy would drag it. You are gonna pick that thing up and carry it back to the keep.
I wouldn't even be
That's
able to drag
right.
it.
Alrighty.
You could probably one-arm that thing.
Fair enough.
So, all right. So let's see. Let me check my little notes here. So you decide. Obviously, you don't need to go fishing now because you got the good stuff. You heft the thing onto your shoulder, and as it drips bloody mess behind you, you whistle away and walk back to Sir Andre's keep. A few years ago, Sir Andre was sent north, given the lands near the river. And the river is kind of the unofficial boundary between the two sides of the war, so it's very borderline area. And up until the siege started about a year ago, that really wasn't an issue. So the king was sending nobles up here, knights up here to establish their keeps, to try to get their lands going, and people were moving up here then. Now they're not. They're going the other direction, right? So Sir Andre's had a hard time really establishing his lands. All he has is the small wooden keep, which is where you're walking to, and two small villages nearby. So the village at his keep and the two small villages. Total population of all three is probably around 100 people. It's a really small community. So you walk back toward the keep. It's basically 4 wooden walls. It's not even a stone keep. 15 feet high or so. There's a gate on the eastern wall. There's a gate on the western wall. and there's a guard tower on only the northwestern corner, which would be the most vulnerable coming from the river. There's a small village outside of the keep. It's very scattered, not very centralized, mostly farmers. But on the outside, there's also a weaver and a carpenter who, it's a small community, so he does wagons too, because it's not quite enough to keep him busy. You walk past all the villagers. You've been here for a few years now. Everybody knows you. You wave. You kind of got a pretty good gig going.
Yeah.
You walk inside the keep. There is, of course, a well, because anytime you have a keep, you need a source of fresh water. So there is a well. There's Sir Andre's manor himself, a large wooden house. You have a room in there that you share with the two valets. That's where you live. Also in his manor is you walk in, it's a great room. There's a kitchen, a servant's quarters as well. Inside the four walls of the keep, there's also what's called Corinne's place. It's a brewer, a husband, and a wife. And they also kind of function as an inn. There's not a whole lot going on there, so they don't have too much in the way of travelers. Maybe farmers coming to sell their wares, or the occasional visitor who doesn't warrant staying in Andre's house will crash at Corinne's place. Her husband, Bram, you know them both very well. There's also a blacksmith, a gentleman named Francis. A stable, which is your domain, your responsibility. Sir Andre's 4 horses, including his warhorse, are there. A baker, Norman, a halfling, moved up a few years ago. The rest of his family is down south. You know, he's trying to get them to come up here, but they're a little bit leery. It's kind of close to the danger zone up here. And of course, there's a small temple to Pelor, where the cleric Tyrone is. Now, normally a broken leg with a noble wouldn't be a problem. He would have just gone to Tyrone, made a donation to the church, a little magical healing, his leg is good as new. But Tyrone happens to not be here. He'll be back in a couple of days. So unfortunately for Andre, he's just going to have to suffer with a broken leg until Tyrone returns.
Yeah.
Normally what you would do is you would take the boar to the back of Corinne's place and either butcher it back there. She has a table. You would just use her stuff. She knows you. Or it's a little warm. Maybe you hang the boar up, go inside and have a brew. Corinne brews a mighty fine brew. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and take a little victory lap in the inn. We'll hang this thing up and come back to it.
All right, you hang it up in the back. Wipe the sweat off your brow. Walk inside. Corinne is in there. She's got a large stick working on her brew stuff. Normally there would be a fire going in here, but it's a little warm, so instead she has the whole place opened up, trying to get a little bit of a breeze going. And you are having some small talk with Corinne. Flash to Eamon. Because I'm not going to say it, Jeremy, however you said it. I don't even know how you're going to say it that way.
Eamon.
That's what I said.
Hey,
all right. Eamon. That's what I said. Hey, man.
Hey, Ma.
He's Jamaican.
That's right. So, Eamon. Eamon, you were sent, or well, you have been on the road for a few days. Prince Raoul did something you've never seen. It's you've been working with him for a little bit now, so you have a little bit for a feel for how he operates. But you've never seen a military commander call his shot like he did. He sent you to deliver a message about the results of an impending military operation before he actually launched said military operation. So you've been riding hard to the east, and you have arrived at Sir Andre's keep. You're just outside the western entrance. Your horse is sweaty. You're exhausted from riding hard for about 2
So
days.
you're saying I have a horse?
You do have a horse. You have an exhausted horse. And
Let me write that down.
Inventory. Horse.
inventory.
You rode it so hard it collapses dead due to a heart attack.
Inventory. Dead horse.
So when you got to the village, obviously you slowed down a little bit. You canter in. People don't see too many travelers coming in here, so you definitely get the side eye coming in from the villagers. Like I said, it's a really nice day today. You got the breeze coming in. You think you smell ale being brewed. It seems like that's wafting through the air. You ride through the western gate. There's nobody outside at the keep, and the gates are open. There's no guards even about. You see one large wooden house that you would assume would be Sir Andre's himself's house. And then there are two other buildings that you're not quite sure what they are. One of them has a freshly killed boar hanging around the back. There is a stable, a temple, and a freshwater well.
Okay. Who am I supposed to deliver this message to?
You are supposed to. Oh, that's a great question. You are supposed to deliver this message to Sir Andre.
Oh, okay. I'll go find. I'll go knock on the house that I think would assume would be Sir Andre's.
Okay. You walk over there and knock on the door. Crench, make a perception check.
Alrighty. Let's see. That is going to be.
Well, hold up, Brian. Shouldn't that be a passive perception check if he's not actively searching?
You know what? Actually, I'm a lie. I'm just going to say this. Jason, Crench, as you're sitting there chatting with Corinne, the back door is open. You noticed a robed figure walking his horse and pounding on Sir Andre's household door. You don't know who he is.
Alrighty. I will go answer the door.
Well, it's two different buildings. So his back,
Oh.
you're knocking. He's knocking on the door, and you're seeing him knock from Corinne's place, which is close by. You can see the front door of the manor. And with your position as huntsman, you're the closest thing Sir Andre has to a number 2 guy. He doesn't really have a number 2 guy, but if he were to have one, it would probably be you.
Right. All right, then I guess I'll just go, to whatever door opening that I saw this, and I'll just kind of lean, on the side of the door and just kind of observe.
All right.
And keep an eye on this new guy in a black robe I've never seen before in the town.
No answer, Jeremy. As you're looking around, you notice a very large half-orc watching you from an opening in the building behind you. The same building with the freshly killed boar hanging on the back.
Would that be like the tavern? Ish.
Could be. It seems to be where the smell of brewing ale is coming from.
All right. I'll walk over there and ask him if he knows where I can find Sir Andre.
Crunch, that's you. And you do. He's inside, but he has a broken leg, so he's probably pretty slow to get to the door.
Yeah, I just let him know. Yeah.
Excellent. I have a message.
I would have permission to go into his place, right? Like he wouldn't mind.
You live in that building.
So I'll just walk him over. No problem. I could show you where that is.
Excellent. Thank you.
You want to tie the horse in the stables?
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot I have a horse.
You do. So you guys,
it's that low intelligence.
must be. So Crench leads you over to the stables, tie the horse off, walk back to Andre's manor, open the front door, let him in. Excuse me, it's a large great room, probably, I don't know, 1,000 square feet, roughly rectangular, or roughly square shape. So what would that be, 100 feet by 100 feet, something like that?
Yep.
With a large fireplace on the right, as well as a door that it looks like it goes to a kitchen. There's a closed door on the back wall toward the right, a closed door on the back wall to the left, and another closed door on the left-hand side. And sitting in a large, very comfortable, maybe bearskin, but you're not 100% sure, covered chair with a very unwieldy splint propping up his leg, sitting close to where the fire would be if it wasn't so hot today, is a gentleman in noble's clothes. They're definitely noble's clothes, but they would be on the low end of a noble's clothes.
Okay.
And Crench, you of course know this is Sir Andre, and I would assume you would make relevant introductions.
Now, obviously, I don't know as a player what the information is, but as my character,
You know, yes, you know what's you have it. You have both a message and you also, well, he told you what was on the message. So unless he lied to you, you know what's on the message as well.
Okay. So with that being said, is this going to be a positive or a negative reaction? Do I think?
Oh, probably a positive one.
Okay, excellent. I introduce myself, explain to him I'm here on behalf of King Raoul or
Prince,
Prince Raoul,
Prince Raoul,
Regent, whatever you want to use,
Prince.
and tell him I have a message for him and hand it over.
Okay. He leans forward, kind of grimacing a little bit, grabs the rolled up parchment from you, peels off the wax seal that has the coat of arms of the brother of the king. He unrolls the paper and starts to scroll it, or read down it, skim it, and he goes, "Oh, well, we'll help what we can, of course, but I don't really know how much we can send. Crench, this is gonna fall on you. Sir Raoul has led a breakout of the eastern gates of Terra. Now they won't be able to hold it. It's a temporary breakout, but it's going to allow them to evacuate some civilians and some wounded soldiers. Everybody knows that once Terra falls, not only will the city fall, but the reward for soldiers after a long, brutal, gut-wrenching siege is, of course, a few days of plundering the city. So any civilians and wounded soldiers that you can get out of the city before that happens is definitely a positive. So Prince Raoul has ordered Sir Andre to send whatever help he can to rendezvous, intercept, find the convoy that has broken out of Terra and escort them to safety. So, according to this note, which Lucian knows, you actually snuck out of the city to do this before this breakout happened. You're not even 100% sure if it was successful. But if it was, it would have happened yesterday.
I snuck out of the city.
No.
Oh.
Lucian. Jeremy did. Oh, I'm confusing my names.
Amon.
Ignore me, Lucian.
No, it's not Amon.
Okay.
I will stab
Evan.
you.
Evan snuck out of the city ahead of time to deliver the message. So if everything went according to schedule and Prince Raoul was correct, the military breakout would have happened yesterday and the convoy would be heading this direction. It's about 100 miles from Terra to here. So for a small party traveling quickly, you would take you probably 3 to 4 days to get there, but since they're working their way this way too, you figure you'll probably intercept them in 3 days ish. So Sir Andre, he can't go. He's got a broken leg. So
How convenient.
very convenient.
Actually, it's quite unfortunate.
So the only men at arms are, and he doesn't even have men at arms. He has you and 2 valets who kind of double as helpers, personal assistants, soldiers, police. I mean, because the community is so small, right?
And even so, he would still need somebody to stay behind, like those valets, especially when he's got a freaking broken leg.
Well, ironically, he has 2 valets. One of them is with Tyrone. So
okay, so
Yeah.
one. He has
Right.
one here.
the other one, which is Chorster, who is your roommate, he says you and Chorster, along with Aemon, because part of the orders, Aemon, was also for you to go with them and help as well. He knows the nobles in this part of the country don't have a whole lot to send. Every man counts, so that was part 2 of your orders, was ride with them to intercept the convoy.
Okay.
So, Crench, Andre orders you go take Chorster, take our new friend Aemon here, leave first thing in the morning, grab a couple horses from the stables. Don't take my war horse.
All right.
Grab a couple war horses from the stables, leave first thing in the morning, intercept that convoy, and bring them here. After we get everybody situated here, we'll go ahead and lead them south to Hastow. Obviously, a community of this size isn't going to be able to permanently house a large influx of civilians, maybe 6 civilians, wounded soldiers. That's a temporary stop here. But bring them here first. and then have them ride south. Eamon, the other thing you know is you're also not the only messenger that was sent. Now this being Sir Andre's keep is the closest
Okay.
to Terra, but there is another knight nearby, Joffrey. He was sent a similar message, so you guys should be keeping an eye out for Sir Joffrey's party, whatever he can spare. You guys are going to be leaving at about the same time, are going to be going to the same place. There's a very high likelihood that you are going to run into each other.
Okay. Okay. I choose to not mention this.
Okay. Because that's not in the note, so you could choose not to mention that if you didn't want to.
Yep.
Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything here.
Actually, sorry. I have a low intelligence. I mentioned this.
Okay.
Hey, I'm trying to play in character.
There you go. I like it.
Sir Andre also, he's going to swap horses for you as well, so you have a fresh, not exhausted horse.
Good. That was going to be my follow-up question.
All right. All right. Well, you guys have the evening to yourselves, and you will leave at first light. Is there anything in particular that you'd like to do?
I'll make sure to carve up that boar. Make sure everybody gets their fill of it, and
Sure.
I'll invite my new traveling companion with me to enjoy the spoils.
All right.
I'll partake and fill up on whatever supplies, road rations that can be spared or whatnot.
Sure. Well, it is a war zone. Food can be hard to come by, so a freshly killed boar is certainly a little bit of a delicacy. And you're obviously, even the few people around aren't gonna take that thing down in one night. So Corinne takes it upon herself to take the extra meat, and she'll,
Jerky
what's
it.
the word? Thank you, jerky it. That's exactly the word I was looking for. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. In addition to boar, Corinne makes you a pretty bland stew, some carrots and other vegetables, with a nice hard black bread. As mediocre as the stew is, the ale is pretty good for a podunk town. She made a pretty good ale, so you guys have a nice dinner of boar, mediocre vegetable stew,
I'll compliment her on the ale.
and pretty good ale. She's definitely a chatty Cathy. She'll talk your ear off. She's one of those when her husband can't get a word in edgewise, but they both seem to really enjoy each other's company. He's kind of the stoic type, silently working around the back. Last chance before we go to the morning.
That's all I got for right now.
Aemon, you can definitely crash in the valet's quarters with them, because the other valet, whose name I wrote down, but now I can't seem to find it. Oh, there it is. The other valet, Wilgold, is off with Tyrone, so there's definitely an extra bed in there. There's a few extra beds. The kind of manor house was built bigger than it needed to be, in the hopes that he eventually would need the room. He would need to fill up the household. But he has servants' quarters in there that doesn't have servants, and he has more space for valets than he actually has. So there's a nice free room for you to crash in there with Crench. You thought you'd never heard snoring until you have of the half-orc, but despite that, you managed to get a half-decent night's sleep.
It's very realistic to my real character. My real character, my real life.
So very early next morning, you guys hear pounding at the door, and it's Chorster waking you up. It's your 6 a.m. wake-up call, if you will.
Oh, excellent. Now, was this a light? Yeah, whatever. Nothing. I'm good.
All right.
Time
Remember,
to wake up.
I didn't sleep, so it takes me a minute to
To kick into gear.
things. Yeah.
All right. So you guys roll out of bed, make your way out front. Chorster was kind enough to pack your horses already. He says, I've got bedrolls, I have food, I have water, I have ale. Anything else you guys want to pile on here before we head off?
Nope. I think I've got pretty much everything. I'm ready to travel.
Do they have like a cart with extra supplies for the people coming that we're grabbing? All that.
No, it's you three and 3 horses.
That's it.
Mhm.
I ask if they have anything for that.
An extra cart. He goes, well, yeah, I didn't think we can round up an extra cart.
Okay. Um,
However, a cart will slow you down
all right, we'll go with
if
that.
you're faster. So that's something to keep in mind as well. The threats to the convoy, by the way, are twofold: bandits in the area and elven raiding parties, either or war parties.
Elves. I hate elves.
Yeah, everybody over here hates elves.
I really, really hate elves. Okay.
All right. All right. So at first light, you guys ride west towards Terra, trying to intercept the convoy. You guesstimate you'll probably find it on the 3rd day of traveling at some point. Would be your guesstimate. Once again, assuming they were successful in the breakout. A little bit cool in the morning, but once the fog birds off, it's another beautiful day. But you can see toward the south, it looks like there might be a little bit of weather rolling in a couple days, so worth keeping an eye on there. It's a nice brisk ride through the countryside. The 3 of you travel it, as hard as you can without really overexerting the horses. If on the chance you do need the horses, you don't want them to be exhausted, so you move at a brisk pace, stopping only to eat.
And Crench, by the way, is just absolutely loving getting to get out of the keep, and he was waiting for something like this to come up. So he's just having the best day he's had in a while right now.
And when did I say this? So, in the afternoon, a few hours after you guys took your lunch break, from the northeast, you see a small party on horseback. Small, can't tell because it's way on the horizon. They look to be moving in about the same direction you are.
All right, I'll look on over to my traveling companion and ask him if he's recognizes anyone or what he thinks. Because I know that I don't know the area as well as someone who had traveled around as much, so I would expect him to have the better expertise here.
All right.
And at this range, they're small. They're like really on the horizon. You
Yeah.
just kind of know there's a party out there, and that's about the end of it.
Yeah, I don't recognize them.
All right, what do you think? Should we approach?
We'll approach cautiously.
All right.
If you get, from what you can tell when you start traveling, it looks like if you guys kind of keep going in the same general direction, they're going about that same way too. You guys will probably cross paths.
Does it appear they're coming from the direction of the town that the other dude went to?
Yes,
I can't
it
figure
would be coming from the direction of Joffrey's Keep.
All right, I'll pass that information along.
All right.
And you from being in this area a few years, Crench, and you have met Sir Joffrey a couple of times, just passing through or whatever. Not to say that you know him, but you would recognize him, and you do know that is the kind of area where he's from as well. As that's about the right trajectory.
Okay.
All right. Well, you guys ride along, kind of watching them slowly work their way closer. And after a couple hours, it becomes pretty apparent that you're pretty sure that's Sir Joffrey, and it's who you think is him, and 3 others. And as you get closer, you see it is in fact Sir Joffrey, riding the largest torch of the bunch, definitely a warhorse, in chain barding. He himself has a huge lance, wearing half plate, and he has his men-at-arms, his valets with him. A woman in leather with dark hair, very short in stature. She has a bow, and worth noting, a sword, as we know that is a relevant piece of observation. The other two companions, both men, with spears and in leather. They look, pretty kind of standard-esque people that you would see if you went to a lord's castle. They would off to the side. You'd probably never take a second look at them. He introduces themselves when you get closer. It is Sir Joffrey. The young woman's name is Nora, and the two gentlemen are Harold and Charles. He introduces as his men-at-arms. And they are, of course, going to the same place that you are. And
Give a cursory bow as he introduces himself.
he, gives you the very polite, good to see you again. And, of course, being the knight and the noble that he is, promptly orders all of you to party up, and we can all go together.
Alrighty.
So you stop for the night, get your campfire out. It's at this point that we need to answer 2 questions. When you travel the next couple of days, what order are you going to travel in? And how are you going to set up the night's watch?
I assume that, there'll be one person, on lookout at a time. I'd be happy to take early lookouts and happy to travel in the front of, around the front of wherever our caravan is.
I'll actually be out by 50 feet or so, scouting, if you will.
You mean you're talking when you're traveling normally, not at the camp?
I'm sorry?
You're saying when you guys are just in a traveling...
Yeah. When we're traveling, I'll be 50 feet out, scouting. Well, how many people are in the party altogether?
7. There's you and Crench and Chorster, who is the valet that came with you from Andre's Keep. And then Sir Joffrey's party, which is Sir Joffrey himself, his 2 men-at-arms, Harold and Charles, and his scout, Nora.
Okay. I'm assuming Joffrey is not going to take a turn.
At night watch? No.
Yeah. So that leaves 6 of us. All right. So we each take, a turn.
A couple hours with a little overlap.
Right. Hour and a half, whatever it is, that equals out to...
So you notice in the evening when you guys settle in, it's either Harold or Charles helps Sir Joffrey undo that massive plate mail that he has to put on and take off every morning. You don't want to sleep in that stuff if you can avoid it. It's pretty uncomfortable. And Nora usually handles barding and puts out a picket line for the horse to keep the horses in place at night. You guys unpack your food, have a little bread, vegetables, some jerky to meat, maybe some ale. Chat, get to know each other a little bit. Anything in particular that you would like to do your first campfire night?
I got nothing.
Not really, just keeping an eye out for anything.
Nora makes the comment, normally in this part of the country, you probably wouldn't actually have a campfire, but you're a kind of a large enough group that it's probably okay.
Yeah.
You're not really the group that bandits are really looking forward to robbing.
Yep.
Get up in the morning, Nora puts on the horses barding, and Harold or Charles helps Joffrey into the plate mail again. Off they go on the horse. Guys trot toward the west. It's a fairly uneventful day. Once again, sky is blue, a light breeze, the weather getting a little closer from the south, so certainly looks like you're going to have rain here in the next couple days or so. And day 2 passes uneventfully. You set up the campfire at the end of traveling day 2. You guys are all a little bit nervous because theoretically you should run into that convoy tomorrow at some point. You don't really know what you're going to expect. You don't even know if it's going to be there. You guys could, in theory, work your way all the way west and just find a bunch of slaughtered military forces and the whole operation was a total bust. So a little bit nervous, kind of chatting amongst yourselves. Nothing does happen this night either. You wake up in the morning. Anything we want to do? Oh, this is actually a really great spot to do this. Grendel, do you have your spell prep list, which your kind of default generic These are the spells I prep normally list.
Brendo!
Grando.
Did we lose him?
He fell asleep waiting for his character to be introduced.
Grando!
Oh no.
I'm here, not sure why mic isn't working. Okay, good.
Okay. Yes, Arrow, this is 5th edition.
Hello, Arrow.
Yeah, by the way, shout out to everybody. We got 7 watching, so hello guys, welcome. This is our first episode. We're not even an hour in yet, so if you guys did miss any of it and you want to go back and watch, we will have these up on YouTube as well, so keep that in mind.
So while we're waiting for Grendel, on the morning of the 3rd day, is there anything in particular that you guys want to do, or off you go?
Were one of these people in Joffrey's party the person that went as a messenger for them?
Oh, you know what? You could ask, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and ask one of the guard type people, one of the assistants.
He says, yes, it was Nora was the person who was the
All
reason.
right. I'd like to know who I'm working with.
Sure.
Can you hear me now?
Yes!
Cool.
It's Grendel!
Okay. Yeah. Let me send you.
Yes, the chat is very curious about what Grendel's playing.
Oh.
And you might want to turn the music down just a tick, Goose. This
Yeah,
new song
it picked up a little bit there,
Yeah.
didn't it?
And comes the big violin solo. Holy! Calm down!
And I just actually got word from Andrew, who will be joining us.
Yeah.
Poof! A new character appears.
You're all gonna die! I do like the song, though. Very pretty. And very foresty.
Bane, Healing Word, and Flish. Those are the 3 spells that you generically prep without some other thing going on. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Amon, and French.
Emin.
Anything you guys are doing in particular on the morning of the 3rd day, or are we carrying on?
That's it. I'm good.
Okay. We are going to now move to Lucian. Grendel,
Hello.
you've been in Terra for the last few months, per what we came up with. And a few days ago, one of the community leaders, who you've gotten to know a little bit through your work in the city, said that some of them are going to be able to get out of the city, and they're taking the opportunity to leave. And he asked you to go with them to help keep an eye on the civilians as they leave the city. So, being the generous, wonderful man that you are, you of course agreed without a moment's hesitation. A few days ago, Prince Raoul's forces burst forth from Terra's eastern gate, slammed through the lines, destroyed a siege tower, and successfully broke out, albeit temporarily, allowing this convoy to escape out of Terra. Raoul, of course, has very few forces to spare, which is why he sent out messengers to at least try to get an escort for this convoy. Convoy is 13 wagons of various sizes. Some of them require a single animal to pull them. Some require 2, some require 4. Most of them have oxen, a few of them have draft horses. And all of the wagons are filled up with one of 2 things, and that's either grievously wounded warriors who have been defending the city, or supplies for the convoy. They know these people are going to be traveling, they're going to need food, they're going to need water. So those are the things that were packed onto the wagon, which means the approximately 100 or so civilians in this convoy are walking. And it's a mixture of adults, some children, No elderly, not that they didn't want to get them out, but they didn't think they would be able to keep up. So it's mostly families and adults.
How many soldiers?
50 to 60.
Okay, so decent number.
Correct. The ones that are in the best condition that were sent are supposed to help guard it, and they're the ones that have arm injuries and can walk, and I suppose might be able to pick up a sword, but nobody there is really going to be guarding anything.
Oof, Lucian, a one-man army.
And of course, you haven't healed any of these soldiers, at least up until now, when you were in the city, for the reasons that we came up with earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the second day, it's about midday. You're walking with all of these wonderful people who are trying to escape imminent destruction. You're come upon a low hill, and at the top of the hill, you see a group of about a dozen horsemen slowly trotting toward your convoy.
Do I see any reaction from them when they? I assume they see us. Like,
Yeah, you're
We're
pretty
not-
hard to miss.
yeah.
Well, I mean, their reaction, they're clearly heading toward you. Like, they're coming towards you.
Right, but when they diverted towards us or would have noticed us, did they pick up speed, or like if they did pick up speed, was it like a little or a lot?
No, they from when you noticed them, they seem to be like they were already going to where you were. It's like you are the destination.
Okay, so this
It wasn't
isn't-
like that they were riding and they saw you and they changed direction. It's from the
Right.
time that you noticed them, they were already riding toward you.
well, and they didn't like pick up speed in an aggressive
Nope.
manner. Okay.
They're not like charging with spears drawn or anything, but it's hard to tell at this distance what to make of them.
Well, I would assume that I would have been at the very back of the convoy.
That's up to you. You tell me.
Well, that's probably where I would be.
Okay.
Because that way, if anyone falls or anything, I can try to help them out.
Sure.
Given
So-
that, I'm going to start moving towards the front of the convoy to just
So-
be there in case I'm needed.
Sure, makes sense. So as you're kind of working your way towards the convoy, front of the convoy, the leader, the kind of community leader who asked you to come along, he's kind of the de facto guy who's kind of organizing this stuff. His name is Harold, and you see him running towards you.
I'll not run away from him.
When he gets there, he seems out of breath. You can see he's got fear in his eyes, and he says, "Lucian, I think they're robbers. They're raiders, and they're heading right toward us. What do we do?"
I'm going to tell him to pull the wagons, carts, whatever we have, into a circle. Put the wounded or the civilians in the middle, and guards that are able to kind of try to use it as a fortress, or not a fortress, but as a defense.
Sure. You don't know if
Just
you
in
have
case.
quite enough time to pull that off, but at least they're doing something. You know, sometimes giving people purpose makes them feel better, even if it may not be doing anything. But you're
Well,
okay. Get 'em to
I don't think they're bandits, so.
Okay, fair enough. Are you gonna supervise the wagon circle? Or are you gonna go toward this group of bandits? What are we doing?
I'm gonna kind of supervise the wagon circle, but I'm gonna stay on the outside of the circle, near it, in the direction that the bandits, Quoddy Fingers bandits, are coming from.
So you kind of watch this group ride in. They're at a good canter. They're definitely moving. Not like at a gallop or anything, and they're not in a line abreast like they're going to be a cavalry charge. They're more strung out a little bit. But as they get closer, you can see the horses are a little bit ragged. The clothes on the all men are a little bit patchwork. They're all armed pretty heavily with a combination of axes and hammers and crossbows, even though the weapons themselves look a little pawn shoppy, if you will.
Maybe they are bandits.
And that is the vibe that you're getting. One of them in front definitely looks a little less pawn shoppy than the others. He's a bigger dude on a horse that looks a little bit healthier. He's got a pair of axes on his back, and you've kind of separated from yourself. So he is riding in your direction. Most of the, we'll call them generic henchmen, who all of them reek to the high heaven, do have a hand weapon out. They're not really posturing aggressively. Frankly, they probably don't feel like they're in a lot of danger. But the leader, hey, there's Andrew. The leader does not. He does not have any weapons out, and he is riding directly towards you.
I'm gonna wait for him. It looks like he's got something he wants to say.
And the leader of bandits is Andrew.
And Andrew says, "Look at my merry men. We're going to rob you blind." The first twist of the quest.
I knew it.
All right. So he trots up, and he's pretty straightforward. He's not Mr. Personality. He says, "I don't really want to hurt anybody, but we're gonna come in here. We're gonna take whatever valuables you have, and we're gonna be on our way. As long as no one bothers us, nobody gets hurt."
How many of these bandits are there?
There looks to be about 12.
Okay. And comparing where we are headed versus the amount of supplies that we have, how do we have excess at all, or is it going to be pretty tight?
I mean, you know that the place you're going to is only a few days away, so you wouldn't need too much in the way of supplies. Assuming that they didn't rob you completely all the way down to nothing, you could probably stretch it out and be okay. I mean, absolute worst case scenario, the river's just to the north. You could get fresh water from there, and people can live a couple days without food. So
Yeah, but injured people's a different story.
also true as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna address the bandit, and I'm gonna actually say, "What's your name, friend?"
He kind of smirks at you, but he obviously wasn't quite expecting that. He goes, "My name is Oland. What's your name, friend?"
My name is Lucian. These people are from Terra, under siege. Mostly civilians, soldiers, wounded, sick, injured. We don't have much of value other than the supplies that we're using to get to where we're headed. If you need some food, I'm sure we could accommodate you. But I cannot allow you to take enough to put these people in danger.
He kind of nods at you with a little bit of a smirk. Go ahead and make a, what would that be? I don't know all the freaking skills yet because they changed them in 5e. Where is my-
Persuasion.
Persuasion.
Thank you. Make a persuasion check.
Oh, I got a +1. That's... Hey, that's a 20.
Hey.
You're very persuasive. He says, "Okay, friend Lucian. I understand. I, in fact," and he dismounts as he's talking, "am also from Terra." He goes, "And like these poor people, I understand what it's like to lose your livelihood to war and have to resort to robbing people on the road to make ends meet. So I'll make you a deal. If you, in fact, have no valuables, then you won't mind if we search your party for them. If you let me keep any valuables we find, I agree not to take any of your food."
Okay, but it's just you and me, and I get to go with you.
He goes, "No, unfortunately, I will tell you the life of a bandit is very time dependent, and I don't have time to manually search through all these people, so my men are going to have to do that, and it's really not negotiable.
And he had how many people with him?
12.
12. That's definitely not anything I can fight by myself, and the guards that are with us are not in any condition to fight, pretty much any of them.
Mhm.
So,
At this point, you notice, by the way, pretty much the whole convoy is just standing behind you watching you guys chat.
yeah. I'm going to I'm just going to say to him, give me a moment. And I'm going to turn around and go to the convoy and basically tell them what's up. Like, these bandits are here. They're looking for valuables. They are only looking for valuables. If they have any, they're going to take them. I can't stop them. If you resist them taking, they'll probably kill you. But they have sworn that if they will take only the valuables and they will give us safe passage after that.
You can see they're pretty hesitant, but also realize they probably don't really have much of a choice either. So they all kind of slowly nod their heads. One of the women, who has a couple of children with her, just simply grabs her pretty modest coin purse and chucks it towards them. I assume hoping that they won't bother her or her children if they take whatever copper pieces she has stashed away.
So I'm going to walk back to the bandit leader and say, very well.
Says, all right, good. This won't take long. Everybody stay nice and calm. He kind of walks away. He's trying to be personable, at least as personable as a robber can be, you know. As you're checking out the group, you notice it looks like 3 of them have a kind of large. You ever seen like a woman where she has the sling and like the baby is across like that?
Mhm.
Something like that, but instead of a sling with the baby in it, it's like a really large bag in front of them. Those 3 don't go to search; they just kind of hang out, watching what's going on. And in the early going, it seems like pretty much everybody is true to their word. They go out there and search them. A lot of the people don't really want to be searched, so I mean, when you've been living in a city that's under siege and you're starving, they're simply handing stuff over. And when people hand stuff over, they notice the bandits are taking it and going. They're not like patting people down. So it kind of encourages more people to simply cooperate. And as this is going down, um, it seems to be going faster because people are just basically handing over whatever money that they have. None of these people really have much in the way of beyond a little coin purse here, coin purse there. There were a couple of maybe civilians of what wouldn't be considered, peasants or farmers type. Maybe a merchant here or a trader here that maybe had some kind of modest piece of jewelry or something. Yeah, that comes right off. And it seems like everything is going pretty smoothly, and they're going to take off. And then you notice one of the bandits, as they start to check out the soldiers, excitedly runs toward Oland, and you can see them talking to him off to the side. Oland whistles, and his bandits kind of walk over to him. He talks to them, points over to where one of the wagons is, where the soldiers, the wounded soldiers are in the wagons. And all of them, except for those 3 with those big bags, and Orland himself, start walking toward those wagons, and they look to be clearing out 2 of them. And
Before they go to those wagons, I'm going to step between them and those wagons and say, what is this, Olin? This is not what we agreed to.
so his bandits ignore you. They just run around you like a rock in a stream, a rock in the middle of it. And he walks towards you, goes, well, You were right. These people really don't have in the way a lot of valuables, but my men did find something very valuable. And that is 2 of those soldiers back there are noblemen. We're going to be taking them with us, and we will be ransoming them back to where they came from.
Is there anyone? Are the bandits near Oland at all anymore?
Just the
And
3 with those big packs of whatever they are. The
okay,
rest of them are basically they seem to be stealing 2 wagons so they can have one of these guys in each of the wagons, as it looks like what they're doing.
so at this point, I'm going to say to Oland again, we had a deal. This is not part of it.
We did have a deal that we would only take valuables. Those 2 men are very valuable. I would hate for us not to be friends anymore, Lucien.
Yeah, there's 12 of them. I mean, all I'm gonna do is just kind of glare at him frustratedly. There's nothing I can do.
So they continue to load up the wagons. One of the soldiers starts to protest, and he is pretty quickly pulled back by his comrades, who realize what you just did, that you're not really in a great situation to be doing much of anything. And they start bringing the horses around that they dismounted from. It looks like they're getting ready to leave. We're going to cut away here to Eamon. You said you were always a little bit ahead of the party, right?
Correct.
Correct. So you crest a large hill, or I'm sorry, a small hill, and at the top of the hill, approximately half a mile away, you see what has to be the convoy you're anticipating. They've been formed, at least partially, into a sort of circular pattern, but maybe started to and didn't quite finish. And then there's a group of people that don't quite fit, and they look like they're just starting to mount up.
Okay. I wave for the rest of the group to get up to me as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And as they get up there, I'll quickly point out to them and explain what I'm seeing.
Okay. So as you're pointing out to your party members what you're seeing, you notice the mounted figures are doing the same thing on the other end. They're pointing to each other what they're seeing, you guys on the hill.
As they should.
So now you're about a half a mile. So you're not particularly close. I actually hit the old Googler, and it'll take a horse about 90 seconds to cover a half a mile.
Okay.
Assuming you want to just charge in there. So,
Crunch, what do you think?
I'm gonna turn to Sir Joffrey, and I'm just gonna give him kind of a smirk, and shall we?
he says, "I think we shall." And he draws. Well, actually, he wouldn't draw. He lowers his lance and puts down his visor, which of course signals the men-at-arms to make sure they're ready to go. And you guys start trotting down the hill. So, Lucien, you see another party of mounted party coming down the hill. 7 of them, led by what looks to be a knight in something pretty close to full plate, some pretty heavy armor. And right as they're starting to run down the hill, the 2 wagons start trotting off in the other direction. About half the bandits go with the wagons, and the rest of them kind of break away from you guys, but hold back just a little bit.
There's there's no way that those wagons are gonna be able to run away if we deal with these bandits. Is kind of what I'm thinking to myself, because it's slower than just a mounted horse.
Totally. The horses will absolutely catch up to the wagons if they get
Yeah.
you.
So how many left with the wagons?
About half left with the wagons.
So there's 6 left, and
There's 6 left, and what they're doing is they're kind of positioning themselves between, and they remove themselves from the convoy. They didn't really want to be amongst that many people, but they're positioning themselves kind of between the retreating wagons and these newcomers that are running down the hill.
Okay.
So how many are in the party that is interposing themselves here?
Like 6.
Okay.
6.
And is Oleg leader guy? What's his name? I forgot it.
He went with the first group.
He went with the first group, so it's 6 sissies. Okay.
Right.
And
And they would let's say they're 50 feet from you, because I said they kind of moved away from you.
they're 50 feet and facing away from me.
Not necessarily facing away from you. You would probably be off to their side because they're more paying attention to the guys coming down the hill. So they don't have their back turned to you, but they're not. You're not necessarily the focus of their attention.
Well, considering that some of the people coming down the hill are in full plate,
Well, one of them.
and
yeah.
well, at least one of them, and
one.
he's coming aggressively, lance lowered.
Mhm.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm
Sure.
going to move. How far am I going to move? Let me see. I'm not going to move at all.
Because remember that party down the hill is still 90 seconds away, or maybe a minute away. Let's say.
Well, I'm going to wait until they're much closer than that,
Sure.
and maybe 6 to 12 seconds away.
All right.
And I am going to cast Chill Touch on 2 of those bandits if they're within 5 feet of each other. If not, then it'll just be one of them.
I don't think they would need to be that close to each other.
Okay.
Wide open plains. They wouldn't need to be on top of each other like that.
Okay. So then I'm gonna hit whichever one's closest to me with Chill Touch.
Okay. Worth noting, all 3 of the guys with the large bag, whatever it is, are with the group that split off.
They're the loot carriers, I assume. So.
Well, no, remember, they had those bags when they came in.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
the
right.
bank.
So it's not loaded up. If it is loaded up with loot, the loot is not from what they just took.
That
Right.
doesn't mean we don't want it.
That's true.
All right, so and I'm on a horse, right?
You are.
You're like the Old Spice guy.
It might look really small under you, but
Yeah.
you're on
I
horse.
got this tiny horse underneath this giant half orc. Okay.
Your feet are almost dragging on the ground as you're riding.
Now, I actually don't know. Can you guys see what I just put up there on the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Turn order.
Yep. I wasn't aware of if you actually could or not.
Yeah, nice.
I know, right? Now I gotta see. Let's
I,
see.
move, I can move. Very
Nice. Oh, okay. This is the first. I messed with this a little bit, but it's the first time I've done it with a PC party here. Why is only Jeremy listed there?
I somehow morphed myself into 2 crunches.
Interesting. Okay, well, for the sake of me figuring out later, so we're not actually just obviously we want them all looking like Jeremy's really cool one, but all right. Why don't we go ahead and roll initiative?
Oof.
22 for crunch.
22 for Crunch.
Let's see, what is that for me?
Well, that sucks.
Oh, no.
I hate
I
you,
would-
Brian.
Not
Put me at
natural
15.
1.
Did you really roll a 1? So what is that? Because a natural 1 isn't necessarily anything on an initiative check.
9.
9. Well, I mean, it's still a 9.
And I am 15.
Lucian is 15. And Bandit is 4.
I'm looking to have my chill touch spell go off
All right.
before like I'm trying to draw attention so that they're like, "What?" and then they get charged.
Okay,
The
that makes sense.
flanking. So,
Also worth noting that the back group, the one that you guys look to be getting to first, they do have crossbows.
okay.
So factor that into your decision making.
So let's see, we got
Crench.
60 feet on a horse. Okay.
Actually, I have it right here. Yeah, 60 feet. So if you use the dash, you could move 120 feet. And if I said I said you're 30 seconds out. So you've got about, let's say, 5 rounds of movement before you get here if you dash the whole way.
So where is Joffrey in this order?
Joffrey. Oh, right. Those guys. Haha, thank you.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about them. It's not my first time. All right, let's see. Let me get these guys here because I actually have their stat blocks right here in front of me too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
I know. So let's see.
By the way, how dare you name a character Joffrey?
What's funny is it's actually named after a French knight, not a Game of Thrones character.
Okay.
Nope.
No, Joffrey Lannister.
Yeah. I was about to say, you're making me inclined to hate him, Goose. What are you doing?
This character is named Joffrey.
Note to
Roll
self.
initiative. I'm attacking.
Note to self, poison knight later, just for irony.
All right, let's see. The first one I rolled would have been, so they have that. Oh my god. Well, DM rolling terribly right now, which hopefully is good for you guys. Nope, I lied. And
You spelled Joffrey wrong.
It's okay. Nobody cares.
nobody cares. And there he is. There we go. All right. All right. Well, that makes it nice and easy. Crench, you're up.
So
You
I'm
interrupt me.
bringing out the shield, seeing those crossbows. So
Sure.
I'll be wielding Warhammer one hand, shield other, and then
Sure.
double dash in. I'm going.
All right. So 4 rounds before you get there. Lucian.
I'm going to. I'm just gonna move like 10 feet toward them, and that's it. Just not do anything.
Okay. Joffrey continues moving. It'll actually take him 1 turn longer because he is on a barded warhorse that moves a little slower than you guys.
You gonna throw me in there somewhere?
How about right there where it says Jeremy?
Oh, it's not showing there anywhere.
Yeah, I
Really?
don't see you.
Really? It's
Yeah.
on mine, and he has a picture and everything. That's weird. Okay.
It's between Joffrey and the valets. There's nothing.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I just added that one in. But like on my screen, it shows him and like his portrait and everything. It looks really neat. I was like, why can't I get that for everybody? But no big deal.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, Jeremy.
I'll ride towards the battle.
All right, you will
Stay
arrive.
behind the giant orc.
So you guys will arrive on turn 5, round 5. So round 1, just so I have a little ticker down there. Valets all riding as well. Nora riding as well. Let me do the math here. If you guys are arriving in 4 turns, riding 60 feet a minute, that puts you at 240 feet away, if my math serves me correct. Yeah.
By the way, Goose, when I'm at 120, and then the next... Oh, no, wait. If I'm double dashing, I can't take any actions. Never mind.
Correct.
Well, I think the horse's movement is separate from you, but I could be wrong.
Am I allowed to throw a javelin while I'm double dashing?
No.
Okay.
You could move, regular move, and then huck a javelin.
You know, I think I want to do that on my last turn then.
Right. That would make sense. So what
Because
I think
then Joffrey will be getting there at the same time.
right. So what'll happen, just so we're all clear, on round 5, all of you that are riding that aren't Joffrey will arrive and be able to move and ranged attack or do something else. You'll be able to get in range without dashing. So round 5, you'll have to move, and then you'll have something else to do.
Okay.
Joffrey will be 6.
Now
So
remind
that-
me, Goose, the guy with the crossbows, are those in the group of 6? Or just
Yes.
in a... Okay.
Yes, they're in the group of 6.
Okay.
And they are... so what I did the math, 240 feet away, that puts them at long range for a crossbow. So let me make a little roll here. Oh, never mind, he rolled a 1, so... that was the guy who was supposed to watch you, by the way, Lucian. So 6 of them fire crossbows at you guys. Let's see.
So he didn't notice me get closer.
He did not. He did not.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Let's see. I'm gonna do it this way.
First initiative battle.
I know, right?
Hype.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to roll these now, and let's see, what do we have here?
By the way, Andrew, if you wanted to use your character portrait, you have to go into your Roll20 account profile and change it.
I did change it. Is it not showing up for you guys?
No, we all have to load out and log in, so
Oh,
we'll just
okay.
do it for next time, right? That
Yeah,
way
no
I'll just-
worries.
Yeah.
When we
Like,
get
I'm
you
looking
in
at
here,
myself.
when we get you in here, your slideshow image will still show the right one, so
Cool.
people still get to see your lovely face.
Absolutely. Okay, sorry, I'm figuring out this little die
I
roller
thought my
off,
real
to the-
face was lovely too. What are you talking
off to the
That's
side.
well, okay, sure.
about?
Weird flex, but okay.
All right. So, first one would be at Crench. An 11 does not hit, right?
Correct.
Okay. So they launch a volley, a scattered, ragged volley. 6 crossbow bolts flying in your direction of the mounted party. One flies very wide of Crench. Second one would be for Joffrey. You see one clank off of Joffrey's armor, bouncing harmlessly to the floor. And this one goes way wide. So these shots are all spectacularly off.
These guys are bad, and they should feel bad.
Well, it's a really long range, so every one of these is a disadvantage.
Ah, fair.
Oh, this one might. Let's see, Nora. Oh, there we go. So a raggedy volley of crossbow bolts is fired at you. None of them are even remotely close to hitting the mark. One of them does clank off of Joffrey's armor, harmlessly, but one of them hits Nora square in the thigh. She's got a bolt sticking out of her thigh. You hear her grimace in agony. And whoops, reset that. Try again. And then spectacularly fail her animal handling check to be dismounted and fall off her horse, taking 2 points of bludgeoning damage. So she tumbles to the ground, wounded. Her horse kind of wanders off. And now we're back at Crench, round 2.
Yeah, still running.
Still running. All right. Lucian. Oh, I forgot I have this. I should have done this, by the way, when I rolled initiative.
So, I'm going to try to, how many, so I'm like 40 feet away from him now, because I moved 10 feet closer.
Correct.
I'm going to move 10 feet closer, but I'm going to try to do it stealthily, but not look like I'm trying to do it stealthily.
So you're trying to fly casual.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead and roll a stealth check, I suppose.
Let's see. That's a 9 plus 1. That's 10.
Okay. That's it.
Let's say I moved 20 feet closer.
20. All right.
15 feet closer. I moved
15.
15 feet closer.
So now you're at 15 feet away. You're at 40. So what? 25. Is that right?
Let's make it. Let's say I moved 25 feet. So I'm like
So
15 feet away
15
from the guy.
feet. All right. And still no weapon in hand.
Well, my weapon's in my hand, but it doesn't look like a weapon yet because it's still got the bag over the kind of like a leather sheath bag looking thing over the top of it.
So if you were trying to whack somebody with it, now it'd be hitting him with a big stick.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. That is Lucian. Joffrey continues to gallop towards the enemies. Jeremy.
Continue.
Valets do the same. Nora stands up.
Also, with
and-
that, Jeremy has to make a restroom break.
Okay. Nora stands up, dusts herself off, grimaces, and starts to limp after you guys. And now it is the bandit's turn. Okay, I gotta do this. Where are they? There they are. All right. So he didn't seem to notice you eking ever closer. The group with the wagons, of course, is gaining distance this whole time from where you guys are at. The group once again reload. Let's see. If you were at 240 before, you would have gone what one? What's their movement? Riding horse. So would have gone 120. So put you at 120. Okay. Is my math way off? Because I said round 5. My math must be off. It's still going to be long range, regardless.
Wait, so,
So they need,
the horse can move how fast?
when the horse dashes, it moves 120 feet.
So
So,
that's 2 feet a second.
sure.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, 6 seconds round, 120 feet.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I said for round 5 you'll get there. So that means they should be 60 feet away round 5, 120 plus 60, 180 feet away round 4. What would that be? 300 and 400. So they right around 500 feet away now. Does that sound right? Hold on.
No.
My caster math is coming through. Okay. So at the start of round 5, they will
Am
be
I still alive?
Yes. The start of round 5, they'll be 60 feet away. So at the start of round 4,
Miraculously.
It'll be 120,
more.
then 180.
Well, no, 120 more, so they'd be 180 feet away. And then at the start of round 3, they would be 300 feet away. And the start of round 2, so at the start of round 2, they're 420 feet away. At the end of this, they'll be 300 feet away. So the short version is, well, actually that means last round they would have been out of range. So we're gonna bypass all of their attack rolls this round, and scratch it and reverse it. Bypass.
Got super lucky when they hit Nora.
Right.
1 in a million shot.
1 in a million shot, and then they all
So you're saying
simultaneously
there's a
jam their
chance.
crossbow bolts when reloading right now. All right, so that puts us at round 3, and hold on. Oops, my calculator here. -120. So you guys would be starting 300 feet away right now.
Okay, so I'm starting to take a look. How far away is this secondary caravan going here with the
Okay,
two wagons?
let me write this down so I don't forget it.
They'd
That's not the answer. That's how far you guys are. Let's see. Their movement is,
probably half speed of a horse, right?
I think it's 40.
No, they're still going to be moving.
Yeah, they're going to be moving. You guys would catch them, but if you get delayed here for any length of time, it's going to be very difficult to catch up to them.
Right. So I'm going to continue riding, but if you'll allow me a like an extra action, I'm gonna look over to Joffrey and yell, Which group are we going for?
He said, well, we're going through this first group if we're going to get to the second group.
All right.
So moving on. Lucien, you're up.
I will stay where I'm at and just kind of watch these guys coming in.
All right. Joffrey continues to thunder forward. Jeremy.
Charge.
Thunder forward it is. Valets are doing the same. Nora is limping behind you guys. And now the bandits are up. 300 feet away is still definitely long range. Right? Where is it? Yep, still definitely long range. Okay. So who is the second one listed here? 14. plus 17. Oh, all right. That one. So, 18. Jeremy, 20 hits.
I hate you.
Okay. And
20 hit.
That was a 20 with disadvantage?
yep.
Wow.
Well, not a natural 20.
No, it was not.
No, sure, I get it. But...
Wouldn't surprise me if it was.
You're just listening to this tonight. Poor Jeremy's just been getting the shaft all night long.
And
Well, let's see. I rolled my stats horribly, and then I go through and my very first roll, I roll a 1. First time they shoot at me, they hit me.
okay. So once again, it's a ragged volley of arrows at you guys. For the second time, they do hit Joffrey, but this time they seem to have found a weak spot. You hear him grunt as an arrow sticks in somewhere between the plate mail, maybe in the shoulder, up high. And Jeremy, one wings off of your arm, just giving you a little bit of a kiss as it goes by for 2 points of damage.
I was gonna say, like, when you say like wings off, like how much in a number point of view?
Like the entire arm.
And one of the valets, Harold, also gets clipped by a bolt here as well.
Oh, they were lucky.
They were lucky.
Yeah.
All right, round 4.
Close this distance.
Crench closing the distance. Lucien.
I'm gonna kind of make it look like I'm a little bit worried about their charge for some reason and kind of move back, circling a little bit behind these guys, but I'm going to maintain my 15-foot distance.
Okay. Make a deception check.
Okay.
Ooh.
I think that's a 16. Let me see.
The one.
It's
Well,
16.
actually, I'll do that on his turn. Okay. So you kind of try to get into a back position here. Joffrey falling behind the pack now, continuing to thunder after you guys as well. Jeremy,
Where's Crunch?
you guys are pretty much next to each other, riding, not like, shoulder to shoulder, but
Oh, no,
abreast. About the same.
I kind of go behind him.
Oh, so you slow down so you get cover behind Crunch. Okay, fair enough.
Hey, listen, I don't have a shield. I now have a big one.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I can be your big shield, babe.
Valets continue to rumble on. Nora still trying to keep up on foot. She's gonna be a little while. And now it's the bandits again. So the bandits, as they're reloading their crossbows, the one closest to you, Lucien, sees what you're doing and says, "Hey, back up and points the crossbow at you on his turn. The other 5 fire.
He didn't believe in my deception?
He did not believe in your deception.
Wow.
We would be 300 minus 120, so he's still long
180.
range. Yeah, still long range. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, 2 of them got closer to you this time, Crinch. One of them hits you square for 8 points of damage.
Okay.
And
What was the hit?
She rolled an 8. They rolled a natural 18 and a 17.
Okay.
So it would have been a
So,
20.
let's see, eight points of damage. All right.
Yep. And after their little ragged volley, they turn their horses around and they start galloping after the wagons. The 3 of them that were carrying those really large bags, they let one end go, and as they're riding, you see caltrops peeling out behind them.
Clever girl.
Crench. Oh, also, Crench, make a animal handling check to
All right.
stay mounted.
Ooh.
Animal handling. That's gonna be a 10.
Ooh, just enough. Just enough.
I keep
You
my
see,
shit.
Crench almost eats it, which would have been really funny watching him eat it right in front of Jeremy when Jeremy specifically said you went behind him.
So
but he-
I want to actually lean back and like as I'm starting to fall, I'm gonna like put one hand on anything I can reach and I maybe find purchase on Jeremy's horse and push myself back up.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a small part of me that wanted Jeremy to trample you as he went by.
Yeah, sure. You wouldn't be a good DM if you weren't wanting that for the audience.
Just for the
I'm not gonna
comedic
lie,
value.
There's a large part of me that wishes I had trampled them.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is round 5. You would have started round 5 60 feet away. However, they moved, so now they are 120 feet away.
So they ran?
They ran.
So they have a movement speed of 60 even while they're shooting?
No, they shot and then moved.
How far do they move?
Their regular movement, which is 60. So they were 60.
Oh, but
right?
we're going 120 per
Correct.
round. Okay.
Correct. So
Oh,
you were if they hadn't moved, the beginning of this round you would have been 60 feet away. But they did move, so instead the beginning you were 120 feet away.
So if they moved and I was behind one of them, he would have gotten within 10 feet of me,
Correct.
which would have given me an attack of opportunity.
With your leather-bound club.
Yes.
Okay. Make a. We're gonna say attack at disadvantage due to the blade being covered.
At disadvantage.
It's an improvised weapon.
That didn't work the way I wanted it to.
3 and a 2.
Well, no, those are your 2 rolls, a 3 and a 2.
Yep.
Yeah. So you definitely don't get him with it as it goes by.
I'm gonna make it look like I tripped.
And you know what? I think with those rolls, he might buy it.
Oh no, I seem to be falling.
Okay, Crench, you are 120 feet away from this group of bandits, and starting at about 60 feet away, there are now caltrops between you and them.
Would I know the effect of caltrops?
Yes, you would definitely know the
What,
effects.
Nails.
what is that? What is the effect?
Well, they will hobble the horse if the horse doesn't make the proper dex check.
Okay.
Or dex
Like,
save.
If your horse doesn't make that save, you are going to eat it and eat a face full of caltrops.
Okay. So in order for them to keep shooting us, though, they would have to, you know,
They will not
move
be able to
slower
shoot
than
at.
us.
Well,
Right.
yeah, correct. Yeah, and furthermore, yeah, they would basically have to stop, turn, fire because they're running away from you now.
Right. So it's possible for us to try to flank them around these caltrips. So
Correct.
I think
You
that's
could
what I'm
go
going to
around
do.
them, but you're going to lose. You're basically going to lose some time.
How far would I have to? How much of my movement would I have to waste to flank it?
Let's see. Let's say.
So out of 120 that I can travel to go straight to them, how many to flank around the
let's say
what they've turned
60, half.
Half. Okay.
Half.
Well then, yeah, it's not even worth. Like we can't even chase them at that point.
Your choices are YOLO, or maybe let them go.
Can I hold my my turn to see what Joffrey does, and then
Absolutely.
and then okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Absolutely. Crunch Lucian, you're up. So if you were slightly behind them, maybe let's say 10 feet behind them off to the side, they
You're
would be
50
now.
feet away.
They would be like 50 feet away, right?
Well, I'm going to. What am I gonna do? No, I'm gonna cast Chilling Touch at the guy who wanted to point his crossbow at me.
Okay.
So he needs to make a save against that, I do believe.
Okay,
Or is
what-
that a spell attack?
I bet you it's a ranged touch attack, but that is 100% a guess, and it is equally likely that I'm right or wrong.
Ranged spell attack. Okay. So I need to roll. That is a 16 plus.
That'll do it.
Plus what? Where's my spell shed?
It's going to be, I think, would be proficiency and your spell casting modifier, which would be wisdom, would be my guess.
Yeah, so proficiency is. That's plus 5, so that's like a 21.
Yeah, it's just you. I mean, yeah, you're good.
Okay, and that is a d8 of necrotic damage that he is going to take. Four.
All right. You guys see this mostly dressed in black figure with a giant staff with a leather cover at the end of it. Reach out toward one of the retreating bandits, and a small tendril of black energy leaps out from his finger, connects with the rearmost bandit, who screams out in agony, but does not fall off his horse, and runs away with a little smoke coming off his shoulder.
And for what it's worth, he can't be healed. I don't think he can. They have any healing, but he can't be healed until after his next turn.
Worth noting. That would be Joffrey. Joffrey, remember, is one behind you guys, so he is actually coming up just to where you are now. So, but when he sees the caltrops, you can tell he's pulling up. He's not going to ride his prized warhorse through a bunch of caltrops.
All right.
Jeremy.
Crunch, what are you doing?
He's holding his action.
Well,
Actually,
I held it for
give me a
after
phrase.
Joffrey.
You held your action until after Joffrey acted, so Crunch, you're up.
So yeah, I will. Can I get to where Lucian is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so if they're like 50 feet from him and you're 60 feet away, you could, that would put you guys, 50, 60 feet away from each other. You could ride right up to him.
all right, then I will. I'll ride up to him, and then I'll just. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, you can speak. It is a free action, some kind of greeting, something, if should you choose to.
Nothing. I got nothing.
Okay. Jeremy.
I'll follow, and I'll ask him, friend or foe.
Up to
Lucian.
Lucian. Okay. Valets. When they see all you guys pull up, they of course do the same. Nora is still getting her way down here. bandits continue to ride off into the sunset. Lucian, a very large half-orc with a shield and a warhammer,
Well, those guys are still in my range.
I know, trots up to you. Doesn't say anything, but he is right next to you. And a smallish, very feeble-looking human riding up next to him greets you, friend or foe.
Feeble.
It is your action. Well, actually, the bandits they've double dashed away, so they would be 50 plus 60, 120, 210 feet away.
Oh, they didn't move 60 and shoot again.
Nope.
Yeah, no, they are just interested in getting out of Dodge.
So let's see, 210. Yeah. Okay. So I had a human walk up to me, or ride up to me and say, "Friend or foe?"
Mhm.
I respond with neither.
Good enough for me.
Yeah, is anybody making a play to catch them now?
No.
Going once, going twice.
Well, I mean, I can't catch them. I'm on foot.
All right.
But knowing that they were in wagons and that wagons lead tracks, like I'm gonna be intending to follow them probably if I
Sure.
can get any kind of help.
Sure. All right. So, what goes it? You guys are together. Sure, Geoffrey. How do I have orcs here? Where do these orcs come from?
I don't know.
Work.
So good.
Sir Geoffrey dismounts, or to you, Lucian, the human in full plate, or half plate actually, takes off his helmet, dismounts. He introduces himself and says that they've been tasked with bringing them safely to Sir Andre's keep. There's a pretty lackluster huzzah from these people who were just robbed. But other than the two kidnapping victims and the minor wounds inflicted onto the party, no casualties, so small victories.
Pull the arrow out of my chest.
Yeah, and Nora would finally have caught up as well.
So I think my guy's probably just not even gonna say a word and start walking towards the direction that the bandits went.
Okay, the cloaked figure in black doesn't acknowledge you at all and starts tracking the bandits apparently on foot.
All right, I'm going to cautiously approach the caravan and start making introductions, telling them who we are and, what we're here for, and kind of getting a sense of what happened.
Sure, one of the humans of the party introduces himself as Harl, and he appears to be kind of acting as the spokesperson for this group.
Okay.
And he said that he kind of explains what happened. These bandits came along, and they were, as bandits go, didn't bother them too much other than taking whatever meager possessions they had, until they discovered that a couple of the wounded soldiers would in fact be pretty valuable hostages, and the two noble soldiers were on the back of the two wagons that took off. Other than that, everybody is as well, probably better than could be expected, frankly.
Right.
All right. I'll call out to the really creepy dude that's walking off after the wagons to hold up, and let's regroup, and we can go after them all together.
He just keeps going.
Apparently, he's ignoring you.
He's a stubborn son of a.
So I'm assuming that Joffrey had heard this accounting as well.
Sure.
So right now I'm kind of looking to him for what the next plan of action is. He's
Well,
of a higher station than I am in this.
Absolutely. He is frankly a little bit torn. On the one hand, he was ordered by his prince to find these people home. And on the other hand, those people that he was ordered includes those 2 people who were kidnapped. So he is of the opinion that he thinks that he should break off some of you guys and you should try to find them and maybe whisk them away in the night.
Okay.
I like this idea.
And then he makes a comment and then while you're there, maybe bring back that one's corpse, and points to the black figure walking away in the distance.
Yeah, I chuckle a little bit at that, and then I would ask, okay, who do you want to send with us, and who do you want to continue with the caravan?
Well, he goes, well, Nora should definitely go with you. She knows her way around in the darkness.
Very well.
And maybe one of the other 3, but I wouldn't want to leave these people too much more defended than that. I am concerned, though, their clumsy feet might give your position away, so I'll leave that at your discretion if you want to take an extra body with you, or you would prefer the persons who are more stealthy.
Well, naturally, I like the stealthy approach.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree
So
with stealthy. Oh no!
What'd you do to him?
Goose's net die, maybe?
I cursed him. Payback.
This is payback for the cattle drops. He sometimes has internet hiccups, so that.
Well, he sometimes has hiccups.
Okay, well.
So did I hear right? The Lord wants to bring back my corpse.
I don't think you heard any of that.
Yeah, you didn't hear
Okay.
it.
Actually, I'm gonna reconnect while we're at it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do the same thing as well.
Just gonna refresh. Hey, there's Merrick. Hey.
Where did you leave?
Brian, you there?
I'm here.
I can't hear anybody.
Can you hear me? You
Oh,
guys-
there we go.
Hello.
Okay. Everybody's there? Good.
I'm good.
When did you guys lose me?
Right after we had decided we wanted to be stealthy people.
Okay. So if you
And
would
right
rather not.
after you gave us all magical items.
Oh, did you write
Oh,
down
no,
which
I
ones I
can't
gave
hear
you? If you
Goose.
didn't
Weird.
hear it, you don't
No,
get it.
that you broke up right there.
Sounds like a missed
me-
opportunity.
Let me be right
plus
back.
3 shield. No.
So if you only want to take characters that would maybe be more Night Raid inclined, that would be the 2 of you and Nora.
Okay. Against an entire band of 12 bandits.
Correct.
You know, I look around. Do I see any like gnomes hiding anywhere?
I'm always hiding somewhere.
Damn it! Where are the gnomes?
It's like being a gnome with super stealth. Who lives in the forest?
All right. Well, I guess I'll go ahead then and approach this black hooded figure that's slowly walking, towards the bandits.
Well, at this point, you definitely have to either jog or trot up to him to catch him a little
He's
bit.
just going.
Right.
Walking with purpose, not slow, not jogging, not running, but walking with purpose.
All right. Then I guess we're I guess it's agreed we're all going for this.
Oh, he wasn't there for any of that conversation.
I mean, well, the two of us then.
Correct, and
I-
Nora.
I'll ride up to him in the horse and explain to him. Think of all the death we can cause if we just take our time and do this sneakily.
Who are you saying that to?
To you.
Oh,
I'm gonna roll a dice because I want to see how it works.
So, I mean, I guess, one of the things I would ask is, or if we could take Nora's horse for this stranger. If it's just going to be the three of us and we're trying to catch up to them, the horses, I
Well-
think, will.
I think Nora's coming with you guys.
Nora is coming with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her
Uh,
horse is actually probably gone.
Oh, okay. Then can we take? Well, were the two henchmen dudes?
They have horses.
They have horses. Okay,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna ask Joffrey if we can take them, since if they're going with the caravan, they're not really gonna need to ride expedient.
Sure. He says, yeah, absolutely.
All right. And I guess I'll grab the reins of one of those extra horses and ride up to this guy and ask him if he wants a horse for this, or if he's just planning on slowly making his way through the forest until he randomly runs into them.
Lucian?
A horse would make things quicker. Thank you. I will mount the horse.
So now it's probably early afternoon-ish. You guys gonna just trot straight after him?
I think the best approach would be to try to follow the tracks, but try to flank outside the direct route behind them, if we can keep tracking of where they are. But then try and get an idea of somewhere we can flank, maybe go around them.
Go ahead and
Any
make.
word from Goose or just dead?
Who is tracking them?
He's dead.
Why don't we start there?
What would be the tracking skill?
It would be survival.
Survival.
Wisdom, basically, is what you're looking for.
I will track them.
Yeah, I don't recommend me.
All right, then I'll just kind of motion. First of all, do you have a name, friend?
My name is Lucian.
After you.
All right. Well, yeah, it's not too terribly difficult to follow a pack of 12 horses and 2 carts. And these people aren't exactly Robin Hood and their merry men,
Right.
So you follow it easily north. At some point, or you follow it easily, it would have been to the west. Eventually, it starts to turn north toward the river. All right, let's bring Merrick in here. Merrick, a few days ago, Andrew, you're here. I want to make sure you're here. Andrew.
Andrew.
If you are here, Andrew, we cannot hear you.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Andrew.
I was
Can you guys hear?
Houston.
Add
Yeah, we
in-
can hear.
Oh,
a-
I
add
cannot.
in Merrick's player card.
Lame. I cannot hear Andrew.
Aww.
Womp womp. Andrew, do me a
I'm
favor.
a
Try
player
to,
card.
if you can hear me, try to leave and come back. That seems to fix all of our problems when we have them.
I think his first.
Brian, are you watching by any chance or following the Dodger game?
No, not even a little bit.
Score is 5-2, and it's all been solo home runs, pretty much.
That's fun.
All right, there we go.
What did we do?
I got Merrick into our player card rotation,
Ooh.
so everybody else can see
Ah.
his lovely stats in it.
Whoops. That's not what I meant to do.
Are you there, Andrew?
I am.
Goose can't hear you. Like,
Yeah, not
Goose, can you hear me now?
one iota.
no,
Can
you
you-
gotta dip out and come back.
Okay, sorry.
Whoops.
Also, Jason, I apparently sent you the wrong stats earlier today.
Did I?
No, I sent you the wrong ones.
Okay.
Because what you saw was a screenshot of this app I have, and it auto calculates and did it incorrectly because it has me with like regular leather instead of studded leather, and vice versa.
Sure, just message me the regular ones. I can fix your card while we're doing stuff.
Yeah, right.
Now can you hear me, Goose?
Ah, there you are.
Sorry, I could hear everyone else but you, and I was confused as to what I was like. What did people ask me to do?
Well, like we could hear you too, but he couldn't. It was weird.
All right. So a few days ago, you were going to go pay Crench a visit to get out and into civilization a little bit, and you seem to have just missed him. You were told he was riding hard to the west, and you came upon the remnants of a battle, and a man in a lot of armor told you they went that way, and said you're free to borrow my horse. Well, not his horse, a horse.
A horse.
That
Not-
guy's.
Not the
Horse.
war horse.
Not the war horse. No.
War horse. Okay, so in which direction did he motion?
He
that they
pointed
traveled?
would have been northwest, where all of the horse tracks are going.
Okay, so I am going to thank him for his horse and head northwest.
All right. You ride as fast as your horse's legs will carry you, careful not to bounce off the back. And after a short while, you see a party of 4, one of which is kneeling on the ground looking at tracks, and they seem to be discussing something as you ride up.
And so I'm riding right up to them.
Yep.
So I will get there and greet.
Oh, sorry, Andrew.
Go ahead.
You and Merrick know each other. I don't think I told you this.
You did not, but that's okay.
No. Yeah,
We're friends.
he's been hanging around the forest near Sir Andre's keep. So you guys have stumbled across each other a couple times on various hunting expeditions and have become acquaintances.
And I ride up, and being leery of people that I don't know, I speak to Crench and Orc. Not sure if the other people can understand me, but figure it's my best chance for them not understanding me if I didn't want them to. And I greet Crench.
All right, and I'll respond. Not in Orcish, but in the language everybody here speaks. Friend Merrick, welcome.
And I begin to ask and try to understand what has happened to them since I've haven't been with them, just to get them to explain who they are and what they're about.
Well, kind of a long story, but the short of it is we're currently tracking some bandits that have kidnapped a few members of the caravan that we were attempting to help, and we've been sent out as somewhat of a splinter cell here to try and see if we can do anything about retrieving these folk. These two. Well, this one particularly, I point to Amon. This one can be trusted. This one's kind of new to us, but seems trustworthy enough.
I give a slight nod of acknowledgement, but don't say anything.
And do we know where these people were going? That have kidnapped these people?
I point to the tracks.
Yeah, we've been tracking them. Do we have any sense for how far behind we are? How much further we got to go?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't know how much further necessarily because you don't know where they stopped.
All right.
But the tracks are still fairly fresh. You didn't leave too far behind them, so granted, you are going to be moving a little slower than they are. They're just going to their destination. You're trying to figure out, where that is. So it's by default you're going to be moving a little slower. But assuming they stop at some point, if you keep going, you would think you would eventually catch up with them.
Yeah, the question I have for this group is: do we want to try and engage them before they get to their destination, or do we want to try and wait until they stop and see if we can't set up some sort of ambush wherever they make camp?
I smile and I say, I like the ambush idea.
I don't care as long as they die.
So I can
Fair enough.
offer to track them. I have a survival skill,
All right.
so
Well,
we can sneak up on them and really have an understanding of where they're at.
and my worry is that they may not be alone. There may be more of them wherever they're going.
Then they'll die.
So yeah, I think I would rather try to ambush them on the road rather than let them get to their destination. But
I think that's probably wise.
all right, well then let's get going. Let's see if we can catch up to these guys.
All right. So whoever is tracking Merrick or Lucian, one of you guys. Why don't we do Merrick since you just got here, and let's get you rolling a die. Merrick, go ahead and make a survival check to track.
So I need to roll a one d20.
D20.
Yep.
Roll 4.
Ooh.
Ooh, look at the pretty birds.
My wisdom does that go with do I get a
So you're going to be proficient in the skill, right?
Right.
So you add your proficiency bonus, which would be 2, and then you add whatever your wisdom is on top of that.
So 18.
No, your wisdom bonus, not your wisdom score.
Plus 4.
Plus 4. There you go. So it'd be 4 is the roll, plus 4 is your wisdom bonus, plus 2 is your proficiency bonus, would put you at 10.
10.
Which is sufficient. Yeah, so you track them easily enough, despite getting distracted by a butterfly. And
Merrick has ADD.
I'm a damn gnome.
Night falls before you have caught up with him. Are you going to proceed during the night to try to catch up with them?
So night has fallen at this point.
Correct.
I would like to make a perception check to see if I see a campfire.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm going to do the same thing. Watch, it's going to be a 1.
Ooh, I rolled a 5. That's an 8. Actually, no, that's a 10. Sorry. Because I'm proficient.
— 15.
Crench and Merrick, you can go ahead and roll them as well.
All right. 14.
Well, 13 plus. I don't have proficiency, but I do have. That's plus. So 17.
17. There you go. Okay. Nobody sees any campfires as it's kind of the twilight, like just before the sun's going down, so it's not quite dark yet. But Merrick, you smell what you would be pretty sure is burning wood, coming from somewhere semi nearby, and you guys are getting closer to the river. Now it's not quite as wide open as it was before. It's getting to be as you get closer to the river, there's more trees, so more of a lightly wooded area. Certainly not like a thick, heavy forest or anything. And you're starting to smell as the wind is blowing towards you guys. So you would assume from to the north it would be is where burning wood is coming from.
Would I have a previous knowledge of Nora?
That's a good question, actually. You guys probably would have passively known one another.
So do I have an idea of what her job or skills could be?
Sure. Yeah, she is She uses a short sword and a longbow, and is a capable tracker, as well as knows her way around the shadows.
Excellent. I look at her and ask her if she cares to go for a hunt.
She said, absolutely.
I just look at Lucian and I'm like, I'm assuming you're coming.
Yes.
Do you guys want to, because it's not quite dark yet, do you want to wait a little bit? Mayhaps a short rest for Nora to recover her wound?
Ooh, actually, I really like that idea too.
Yeah.
Before we do that, have I been here? Can I use my understanding of nature to you talked about the land narrowing, but do I have a better understanding of the where we're at?
This is a new. You haven't probably been this far
Okay.
west before, but as you get closer to the river, it's gonna just naturally there's gonna be more growth because there's more water.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could definitely use a short rest too.
Yeah, I forgot I was injured.
Down about third.
So if
I'm
you guys
just
want
pacing during
to
the
take,
rest.
yeah, if you want to take an hour rest and use your hit dice to recover hit points, you
So
may do that.
let's see. Hit dice is 12 for me.
Right, so you could roll up to 2d12 to recover lost hit points.
So do I just get to do that every short rest, or is there like a
No,
pool I'm
you
pulling
need
from?
you need to replenish your hit dice with a long rest.
Okay, so I get 2 hit dice per long rest.
Correct.
So I'll just roll 1.
Okay, so we
Maybe you'll roll
one.
two.
maybe roll the second one.
Well, what? So I get that plus my. Is it my Constitution modifier?
I don't think so, but let's find out because this is one of the new things to this edition.
I'm actually looking right now.
As am I.
I also have good berries that I can cast and feed people.
Oh, there you go. I would hold on to that for now because they probably won't need it.
186.
There it is. You're right. Adds con modifier. You're correct.
Okay,
So
so
add your Constitution modifier.
4. Again. Well, it's near the end of the day. We're probably gonna do this, and we're probably not gonna do much else. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and do the second one.
All right.
That guarantees your max health because you're missing 8.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
6.
All right. I'm back up.
And Nora is as well.
Sweet.
All right, so it's shortly into the night. How far into the night do you guys want to wait before you try to find?
So let's
they're
say
at.
we're putting a number on how into the night it was. Like, nighttime started around, like, let's say 8 o'clock number.
Why are you asking?
What time is it?
I don't know. It's summertime, an hour after sunset, so 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we might as well. Maybe we approach and try to approach stealthily, and see if we can find a time where any of them are separated. If we can find a way to approach and try to observe them.
All right. So how far into the night are we waiting?
2 hours?
Sure. So
What do you guys think?
11-esque.
Sure.
All right.
Lucian paces the entire time.
What's the marching order?
I'll go first.
All right.
I can go second.
I guess I will go third.
And I'll kind of hang back at 4th.
Where's Nora?
You tell me.
I have
where
a
you
feeling Nora should probably be up front as well.
Well, meta game here. I have pretty high perception, so maybe I should be second. That way I can
All right.
potentially
it.
see things. But I don't have dark vision and you do, so never mind.
All right. Yeah.
So Jeremy, Crench,
Crunch,
Joffrey's
crunch.
not here.
I can do perception checks in the back, and also have dark vision myself.
Okay.
So is that the marching order there?
I believe so.
Yeah, that looks right.
All right. Okay. Jeremy, make a. Now you guys are still tracking them. So maybe can before we start doing this, Jeremy, if you're not a tracker, you should consider swapping out.
Well, then if it's tracking, we want the gnome up front.
Yep.
Right, because in theory, you're gonna want somebody who can track, but also if you stumble across them, not be in trouble. Like,
Well, the
able-
gnome has tracking. The gnome has good perception. The gnome has dark vision. Like
And
he's
good stealth
perfect.
since we're trying to sneak up on these bastards.
So let's put the gnome up front, then I'll go second.
You bastards.
Oh, you'll be fine.
You rolled very good stats. You'll be okay.
So
Hey,
with that in mind, Merrick, make a survival check to see if you can, and actually make it with advantage because you smelled where the campfire is, so you kind of have an idea too.
Okay.
So advantage means you roll twice, and you pick the higher one.
So I rolled 2 dice at the same time.
Right.
Two
So you would
D20.
roll 2d20, and you're gonna pick the higher result is what you get. So
An 11.
go ahead and pick the higher one. So I think you have a +6 would put you at like 17 or so
For
survival.
yeah. So yeah, 6. Yep.
17. Perfect.
17. Yeah.
Okay, so you have no problem tracking it, and you find you stop the party, and you see Merrick point to you guys in the distance. Now, this is not on the horizon because this is a lightly wooded area, so your vision is somewhat obscured. But all of you can now smell the campfire, and you see a what looks to be an obscured aura of light that would be kind of the orangish of a campfire.
Can we see the people?
You're probably too far. It's just at the edge of where you can perceive of that light. So maybe not people. You can maybe see a shadow obscure it from time to time, but you can't really make anything out other than there is a source of light over there, and it certainly looks like it's a campfire.
Ooh.
Ooh.
There's a sleeping guy.
Yep, clearly we can see him.
Don't put too much into it. It's just a stock photo. All right, so I think we need to try to approach these guys stealthily. We wanna try and set up a surprise if we can here for them.
So should I sneak a little bit closer and, or at this point and try to examine, or should someone with a bit more perception go forward? I mean, either way is fine.
Well, I have pretty good perception, but I don't have dark vision.
Right. So you have to get too close.
Yeah, same.
I think I'll go ahead and go. My perception's all right, but I have dark vision and.
I'm going to move with you, not for any metagame reason that makes sense, but my guy just really wants to kill these people.
Right.
So let's put a number on it now. Let's say you are when you guys are having this discussion, approximately 200 feet away from where this campfire appears to be.
So what you meant to say is when we're having this discussion quietly.
Correct.
Yeah.
You're quietly having.
We're in
this-
the whisper cone. I think everyone gets that.
So are you, Cranch? Are you going to try to creep up on it alone by yourself?
No, I'm encouraging everyone to come with me. We want
So
to
you
approach
guys-
this as a group.
Do you want to just like stomp up there? What's the kind of approach to how you're going to do this?
We're sneaking in.
Sneaking in. Okay. All right. So this is going to be a group stealth check. So everybody has to roll stealth.
Stealth is under Dex, so we roll 1 die. Okay.
Yeah, it's always
so a 15 for Cringe.
Okay.
I have an 11.
Oh my god, I'm rolling so
12.
bad. 11.
So the way group skill check works is if at least half of you are successful, the group is successful, and vice versa.
Nice.
So let's see. Who was the first to roll? Was that
Me.
Emin with a 2 or Lucian with a 10?
I had a 10 for a total of 11.
Okay, so 11.
I had
Crench,
15.
15. Emin.
12.
Merrick.
11.
11. And this is the first time I've actually done this on here. Did I do it right? Yay!
Ooh,
And there's Nora.
Natural 20 for Nora.
And that's Nora.
I am weirdly attracted to Nora.
I don't think it's
Ooh,
weird.
baby, you're so stealthy.
So as you guys are trying to creep along, somebody maybe kicks a rock and somebody else snaps a twig, and you hear a "Who goes there?" from somewhere closest to the camp.
All right, what do we see at this point, though, as we're walking forward? Can we see,
Well,
how many of them are there? Is there anything that's helping us confirm that these are the bandits we're looking for?
Let me see some. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Thank you.
So let's say if you were 200 feet before, let's say you're closer to 150 feet now, and let's have everybody make a perception check.
Oh,
That
Jesus.
is a 16 from me.
Jeremy's really distracted by Nora.
11 for Crench.
8.
Wow.
Nora
okay.
again?
Hold
Damn,
on.
Nora!
I bet you I'm thinking is it just doing am I literally rolling a 20? There
Oh,
we
yeah,
go.
it says rolling 20.
Okay,
So
we'll give
you're-
the first one away, but there's Nora again. I think
No,
Okay.
I think
Okay.
I'm still really attracted to Nora.
You're attracted to people who
Merrick-
shit.
Merrick and Nora also realize that there's actually not one campfire, but there's two. There's one slightly removed and a little bit further back from the first one that you saw. It was obscured in the trees before. And you still have been challenged by a sentry from somewhere.
Do we see?
I
Do
whisper-
we
I
see
whisper
where
to
the
the-
sentry is?
You know what? Make a separate perception check because that one was for the campfire thing.
Alrighty.
as a group or
Yeah,
just,
everybody who's around.
I see him.
17.
I cannot fucking roll.
Hey, there's an actual one. Nora says, "He's right there." And Jay, and for once, Emin. Let's see. Let me check out my little thing.
Nora's like, he's blonde, he has green eyes.
His father's
Here's the-
name is Bill. His mother's name is Sarah. He is approximately, let's see, right there. 20, let's see, 80 to 100 feet away from you. So maybe 30 feet ish away from the closer of the two campfire. That's where he sounds like he's coming from. You can't see him though.
I whisper to the gnome, he doesn't know you're a part of our group. You should respond.
Ah, it's a good idea. So I do, and I just say I'm a friendly gnome, foraging for mushrooms.
Ooh, I like it.
Make a deception check.
Okay, and deception is on
Wisdom, I believe. No, charisma.
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 Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Roll
It
d20.
doesn't matter for Merrick really because he's not Emmett.
Yeah, just roll a d20. Oh, nice.
With a +1, so that's a 20.
Hey,
Okay, let me check here.
just your friendly neighborhood gnome over here.
If
Noel.
you guys, if you want
Regular
to know,
Noel.
by the way, this is what I rolled, but they don't have a bonus.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
So he said. So he says, "Show yourself. Mushrooms in the middle of the night."
And I walk forward and start talking about how that's the best time to look for certain mushrooms.
By the way, I pull out my bow.
Okay.
I think I'm sneaking a little bit closer while this is happening, but not in the same direction.
So are you actually just marching towards him, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm walking slowly and kind of have my hands out turned to show that I mean no harm.
Now, by the way, guys, if I was really good at this Roll20 thing, once I figure it out, what I would do here is show only Andrew something and not the rest of you guys. But I'm just not that good at this yet.
We'll get
which-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Soon.
Which would be pretty cool. They actually have a really neat feature on the virtual tabletop that you can have the whole thing blacked out and slowly reveal parts of it to
Yeah.
the PCs, which is pretty okay. Anyway,
Classic
back,
D&D.
yeah, very classic. So as you get a little closer, Merrick, you see a human standing just outside of the light of the fire. He's got he's very scraggly looking. He's got a little padded hat on. He's nervously holding a hammer of some kind with kind of a patchwork leather padded armor thing he's got going on there. And he's got his kind of squinting eyes. He's trying to look out into the darkness, but he clearly can't see you. What do you do?
I ask him, what is he doing out here?
He says, "I still can't see you. Where are you?"
I'll tell him I'm very short and I'm standing in the woods. I'm standing by the trees.
He nervously says, "Well, I would get out of here if you know what's good for you."
So I would see here. Why? I'm just looking for mushrooms. I shouldn't be bothering you.
He okay. Make a stealth check.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the same thing.
Make a
I
stealth
think
check.
we all are.
Ooh,
right.
yeah.
Where's my girlfriend?
That is stealth. Dang it.
It's a 19 for me.
18 for Crunch. Wow. You're really loving that 5, man. You're all over that 5.
If this is a group stealth check, though, so far it's really good.
Listen,
Sure, sure.
I'm doing the virtual changing of the dice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we would call this a group stealth check. So you guys do slowly creep forward while Merrick is talking to him, and when you respond with the I'm looking for mushrooms. Why would that bother you? He says, "Lamazir, come out here. There's somebody out here." And you can hear some rustling coming from the camp.
Can I see who's rustling?
Yeah, you can see there's kind of a human moving around in the light of the camp. And as you look over there, there's definitely a few of them kind of lounging around. They were just kind of maybe eating, drinking, playing games, chatting before. But when the sentry yelled, they all started paying a little bit of attention.
I would be creeping forward until I were probably about 30 feet away from, because you know how, campfires work? How there's kind of that edge where it's almost kind of reflective and they can't see out very well? It's like when you're looking at a window and you see your own reflection. Campfires do kind of
I
a
know
similar
just
thing.
what that's like, Grindel.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
at the edge of that shit.
I'm also looking to try to get to about 30 feet.
Okay, so uno momento. Why we get this set up
Charging
for you guys.
range.
Yeah, seriously. That's what I like to call my rage zone.
Okay. This here, that you can't see very well, is Nora. You see it there? Okay, so you can't see
Let's
it.
see, I'm gonna have to zoom out a little bit for this one.
I'm going to bring you guys over here so you can see the names. Oh, and actually, all of you should be able to move your own. See if you can move your own
Nope.
thing.
Nope.
Bitch. Thought I had that set up ahead of time.
I can move
Mine's
Jeremy.
good, yeah. Oh,
I can move.
The only one I can't move is Andrew.
Oh, okay. That's because Andrew wasn't here, so I wasn't able to set that up. But hold on, I can do
What
that.
do the different colors mean? Oh,
You can put a number in them. You can actually use them whatever you want. Hit points.
Okay, so which direction were we approaching from?
You were approaching from the south, so I'll set this up for you. But somewhere, can you guys see my mouse or no?
No.
No.
Oh, you
No.
can't, okay. Somewhere down here. Whoops.
But
That-
we got
Somewhere
the
from down here.
like you've got a paintbrush thingy. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Okay.
Very
let me fix this real quick. Okay, now try to move Merrick.
Yep.
And jumps in the middle of the fire.
Yeah. Ah!
And Jeremy, because you have a thing for her, you can have Nora for this fight.
There you go.
You shall
I
see
still
if
can't move me. I can move Nora.
you really can't move yourself?
Nora comes next, right next to me, baby.
Okay, can you? But you can't move yourself.
No,
I can move it.
Try now.
no.
No, weird. Okay, let me see.
Oh, that might have been because I had him selected. Here, try now.
Oh no, actually, I can tell you exactly why. It's because I accidentally picked you instead of him. Now try.
Yeah,
Beautiful. All right.
yeah. Trench, you stay away from my girl.
Come with me if you want to live.
Come with me if you want to live.
He cannot protect you.
So
I
as
really can't.
Get out
so,
of here now.
Merrick, you would be about here, but like 2 squares further back. So I can't put you over there, but like straight toward the bottom of the screen, 10 feet further away. And then the rest of you would be coming up kind of behind him. And so we'll have you roll initiative there as I put down what you can see.
So should I walk a little closer since I got a little agitated?
What was that?
Should I get a little closer and tell him to calm down and offer him something?
That's up to you, but we're gonna roll initiative first.
I've got these
All right.
special mushrooms we find in the forest at night.
Hashtag special much. Oh man, these initiative rolls. Take a 22 for Crunch.
We're rolling initiative.
You are rolling initiative.
So roll a what now?
D20. It's always a D20 unless it's damage, basically.
Okay.
By the way, where are my beats at?
What the
Goose?
fuck?
Oh, I actually changed it to like a campfire sound, but now
The
it needs,
5 again,
now
Jesus.
it needs to be there.
I roll a 17.
So
Yeah.
on your character's PDF, on the first page on the top right, it'll show what your initiative modifier is.
So I'm 20.
By the way, Weenus, thank you very much for those 69 bits. Oh, Weenus special.
Weenus, you crazy bastard.
So I rolled a 20.
Okay, Merrick, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 17 plus 3, so 20.
Eamon, what'd you roll?
13.
Crunch, what'd you roll?
22.
Ooh. Lucian, what'd you roll?
17.
Nora rolled a...
So is Lucian still really far over on the right hand side? There we go.
9, and the bandits rolled an 11. Is that everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the purposes of what we're doing here, we're gonna say that you guys are all 2 hexes further back than you are. So you're 10 feet further away than you are right now. Otherwise, the hexes are 5 feet each.
Okay.
Crench, you are up.
How far am I away from the closest one then? We got this guy.
So the closest one would be this guy.
Nice.
Whoops, hold on.
So maybe like 40 feet away?
This
6
guy?
hexes should be 30 feet.
Hold on.
So there's the
Each
guy right
This guy, there we go. See the ping? Beautiful. All right.
Yeah.
So 2 hexes is 10 feet, so 2 more would be 20 feet. You would be 20 feet away.
All right. I'm gonna give a little motion as I come up out of the brush. Kind of a swing my hand forward like let's go, We're close enough to this first one, and I'm just gonna run up to him. As a bonus action, I would like to reach.
All right. Go ahead and.
And
Roll
I'll
it.
swing at him with my warhammer.
No, it's not so much for the ambush, firing from the bushes, just for going in there, guns blazing.
Well, I mean, we failed the stealth checks, so,
No,
you
you-
guys
you-
are no longer...
No. You actually passed the group stealth checks to creep up.
Yeah, we haven't. We don't have to fight them. I just asked the.
The only one that is known to them is Merrick, and you all did collectively pass the group stealth.
Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry. I thought this guy out here yelling thought that, everybody was...
No,
No,
he's just yelling at the gnome.
Alright.
Well, no, he did yell to his compatriots, but that's because he's not sure what to do about this gnome.
He's just basically saying, "No, get out of here. Go and get."
I just figured you were orking it, and I was like, all right, let's do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, okay, we gotta get in on these guys. We're probably not gonna make it all the way around to everyone,
I figure I can at least be more of a distraction, so we can either get some of them out of the so we don't have to go fight them in the light.
I don't know if fighting them in the light's such a thing as they all have crossbows. At least they did. So
Right.
closing the gap on them is what we want to do.
Okay.
But if you were to, let me see, freehand. Let me do the thing. Can I not draw? It won't let me draw.
You should be able to draw.
Oh yeah. So if you were to go like maybe around this way,
Mm-hmm.
just like circle around that way, and then we could go like around this way. They'll pay attention to you, and maybe we can go in.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, come. That's a really good idea, I think, Grendel. What I'm going to do is head that direction that you're saying there to the right, and tell the guy to come over here so I can show him where the mushrooms are.
There you go. How
Alright.
do I erase this?
Alright, that's fine then.
Only I can.
Ah, okay.
Then I guess I'll sneak around the flanking side. So let's see, 10 to get to where I am essentially now.
look. There's
Correct.
already mushrooms right
And
there.
then 15, 20, 25, 30, so I can get to about there.
Correct, but if you did that, you'd literally walk, directly past the guy.
So you probably want to wait for me to
So
get in.
where is this guy?
He's right.
Right there.
Okay.
So
So you could go the long way, so you're not
So
literally.
I can go maybe there with 30.
Right, yeah, something
And
like
not be, so close to him.
that. Correct.
Okay. And we're still using the same stealth check? Is this like
For this
carrying
round.
over?
For this round.
Okay.
This
So,
round.
Then I will stay here, and I
Alright, damn it.
will
That's not what I meant.
not rage. Then I will just stay there and stay quiet.
Okay.
I'm right beside him.
Well, it's not your turn yet. Damn it,
It will be.
Merrick, you're up.
I'm gonna tell the guy that I'm come over here, and I'm gonna walk to about I can do 25 feet, right? So
Right. Well, you've already used 10 to get to where you're at. Because
Okay.
you guys were split. Oh, not you though. No, I'm sorry. You were closer. So we're gonna say you didn't use that. You're where you
okay,
were.
and so it's each square is 5 feet.
Mhm.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I move diagonally, or I have to move?
You can move diagonally as long as there's not like a wall or a tree or something in the way. You
One.
can't clip diagonally past terrain.
3. So I'm gonna tell the guy to come over here. That's 5, yeah. But there's mushrooms over here. I'll show him where the mushrooms are over here.
Okay.
Right here.
Make a perception check or a deception check.
Deception check. Okay, D20.
Okay, this guy can't see very well anyway. He's not gonna care if there are mushrooms there.
Oh Jesus.
Oh no!
Oh.
Womp womp.
So deception is.
Merrick had a good run, man. He had a good run.
Oh, I'm not dead yet, but motherfucker. So I got a 2.
No, you got a 1.
Well, no, that the critical fails only on attack rolls, not on skill checks. He says, "I just took a whiz over there. There's no mushrooms. You need to get out of here."
Does he move or reposition?
Not that you can
Well, it's
see.
not his turn yet.
It's not his turn yet. It is.
Ah.
Lucian's turn.
I.
And this is him here.
Yeah.
He's a little hard to see on the green background.
Yeah. Alrighty. What do you guys think? Should we get this party started?
Well, I think we want to let them move. That was the whole idea of me going over here.
At the same time, though, you guys didn't really plan out a thing of attack, so we're gonna limit a little bit of the chair generaling and let you guys just kind of do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna move over here.
Where's over here?
There.
Okay, so you already remember you have to take away 10 feet. So is that
There.
20 feet? Okay.
That's where I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna have my bow aimed at him, ready to an angle.
All right. And Nora, Jeremy, go ahead and then what's Nora doing?
Oh, I got two characters? Oh, shit. She's human?
She is.
She's up by suicide
I
into
love-
their camp.
I love everybody. She move here.
All right. Yeah, the bandits were surprised that turn, so they didn't do anything. Except for this guy who's still yelling into the woods. Or by this guy, because you guys can't see me when I say that, I mean this guy.
And did he move towards the sound of the gnome's voice?
No,
Did
he seemed to be just kind of lost, scared, looking around.
Okay.
French, you're up.
So at this point, can I see if any of them are armed?
Oh yeah,
While they're
they're
at their campfire?
yeah, they're definitely armed. And if they're not armed, there are, if they don't have it like actively in their hands, it's on their person or next to them or.
So, game mechanic question.
Mhm.
This guy out in the woods, I'm assuming he is in darkness. This
He is.
the
Did he move?
campfire. He
Mm-mm.
did not move.
Okay.
The lit circle is where it's light.
Correct.
So, if they were to attempt ranged attacks into the darkness, they would all be at disadvantage.
That is correct.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and sneak another 30 feet upward then, trying to flank around the campfire. 6, so I could go probably there. I'll still be in darkness.
That's about right. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
You're
Oh,
in-
Lord.
Group again? Are we doing?
I think we're trying to approach from two different angles there. That's natural 20!
Well, that'll do it. You are the quietest, most ginger-footed, 260-pound half-orc that there ever was.
And I'm gonna hold my attack just in case anything walks towards my direction. It's
So
in
you-
range.
Well, they're definitely within range. I mean, they're 10 feet from you.
Well, they're
Oh, I'm
Wait.
sorry. You mean melee range?
yeah in melee range. Yes.
I gotcha. So the trigger is if somebody walks within melee range, I'm going to attack them.
Yeah, melee with the warhammer.
Merrick?
The urine makes the mushrooms better. Trust me.
That's how they grow.
What's so sad, Grendel? That's so good. I was just about to say that.
Oh.
I'm gonna tell the guy. I'm gonna say, how could you miss them if you went pee over here? They're right here.
All right. Are you doing anything or?
I am going to I'm gonna move just a little bit, but I'm gonna say they're right here.
Okay, so where are you moving to?
Does this put me too close to Nora if I do that? Does that
No,
put us in a bad
As long
spot?
as you're not on top of her, that's fine.
Hey. There's only one person on top of Nora.
And it's your mom. Heyo.
Oh.
All right, so I'm gonna tell him that there are mushrooms over. Like these are the. How did he miss these? These mushrooms are right here.
Okay.
So roll d20.
I don't think at this point.
It could happen.
He just yells back, "This is the last time I'm going to warn you to get out of here."
Okay, so it doesn't matter that I rolled that. Okay, fine, cool.
He wasn't gonna believe it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then I'll respond. Fine, I'm going.
Lucian.
I am going to attempt to stealth to right here.
Okay, make a stealth check. All right.
That's I think that's a 14. Let me double check here. Yep, that's 14.
He does not seem to notice.
Okay, I am going to ready an attack. If any attack goes off from friend or foe, I have also pulled the sheath off of my glaive.
Oh yeah, you have reach on that thing, right?
Yeah, I do.
Thanks.
All right. Jeremy.
You know, for supposedly being an assassin, I am kind of struggling to figure out what I want to do.
Yeah.
I think you want to kill someone. I know your intelligence is low. But
Well, he's picking his shot. That's what he's.
What was my objective here again?
So nobody knows anybody's here, right?
To your knowledge, yes.
Well, they know that the gnome's here. That's it.
he did say to our knowledge.
I'm gonna move.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry, Jeremy. Before you do that, Merrick, make a perception check.
Merit, make a perception check. D20 coming up. Jesus fuck.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Karen, never mind. Jeremy,
That
there's
is,
nothing to see here.
that is not what you want to know.
You might want to do a perception check, Jeremy. You might want to help us out here.
Can I search?
Nope.
Make
Are
a
you just gonna search the woods? You're just gonna start digging around right there?
I'm just gonna look around.
He's looking for mushrooms and
See
urine.
if I see
Well-
anything.
Jeremy, you're a human, so do you know what you see? A whole lot of nothing,
Oh, great.
except for a campfire over there with some people moving around.
All right. Can I see the dude? That's
Which dude?
talking right next to Lucian.
You cannot.
He's way far
All
off.
right. Can I see the guys in the campfire?
Of course, because they're in light.
Sweet. All right. I'm going to attack.
Now, if you do from there, it will be partial cover because you're firing through lightly wooded area. So if you move up to the edge of the kind of clearing there,
Like there?
yeah, exactly. So I actually should have specified bad DM. They kind of have little clearings for the campfires.
Yeah. Okay. And I will attack the guy closest to me, who's 2 squares diagonal.
This guy.
Correct.
All right.
Which means
Go.
he's probably surprised.
Well, that's why they didn't act last round.
Right. Which means advantage, right?
No.
sneak attack?
Yeah.
Sneak attack, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
You get sneak attack damage, not advantage.
Wasn't that normally advantage? I don't know.
Mm,
Advantage
also
grants
really
sneak
tired,
attack,
so-
but not vice versa.
Bear with me.
So, oh man, feels bad.
11.
What are you attacking with, by the way? Your crossbow? Bow?
Short bow.
Short bow. You fire your arrow with the guy, and it probably is the only time in his life that cheap ass armor actually did anything for him. But the arrow glances off, seems to snap away on the cotton padding of his abdomen.
All right, and I'll use my bonus action to hide.
Okay.
Hey, I get to do that. I
Totally.
have
Yeah, absolutely.
cunning action.
Make a stealth check.
Yeah, no, this is not going to be good.
Oh my god.
So
Game
instead-
hates you, man.
Instead of-
and
Instead
gonna
of
work
hiding,
out
you trip
something.
over a log, and you're right in the middle of it. No.
You and I are going to work out a different way to roll.
So,
So instead of
Alice
hiding,
and Jaffe, this is
actually
everything I
yell-
wanted.
did everybody just see that? That armor actually did something. Come on. Bandits.
because an attack went off, my attack goes off.
Oh, that is true. Thank you. I actually was going to do that, but go ahead, Lucius. And that would mean actually, you go after them now.
Oh yeah, I hit that guy.
Yes, you do.
All right, so that is, I believe, a D10 plus 2.
Hmm.
It's 9.
Okay, as soon as you hear
Nine.
or see Jeremy's arrow do nothing, and then him face plant in the woods, you, you rear back with your. Is it a glaive? Is that what it is? A sickle?
It is a sword on a stick. It is a glaive.
You rear back with your glaive and you attack this guy, and he shrieks in howling pain as you put a gaping wound across his chest, and he takes to a knee, bleeding profusely, but he is still up.
So is it Nora's turn then, or
That would make it the bandit's turn, actually.
I totally forgot to have Nora's on. There we go. Now we see Nora's order. She's down there.
Good. All right. So this guy gets up, and now you see they hear them scrambling around. They're grabbing their weapons. They're yelling for comrades. And Merrick, you now hear another guard stumbling his way through the forest over here.
okay? But he's stumbling around.
Yeah, because he's human and he's in the dark and he's working through the forest, so he's not real subtle like.
Okay. So I can't.
Lots
do
of
anything-
shit, fuck.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So I can't do anything to him.
And these two guys fire blindly at the general direction of where Jeremy came from. Oops. Okay, well, no.
I wonder if they're gonna fire blindly in my direction and accidentally shoot their friend and kill him.
15, Jeremy?
I really hate you, dude.
That's a disadvantage.
It is. One of them, he may as well have fired straight up. He probably tripped when he fired and just kind of shot it up in the air. But one of them wings you for 4 damage.
Damn.
A little love tap on the arm as it goes by.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is Nora.
I have no idea, dude. I'm so tired. You should probably take
All right,
it.
I'll take Nora. So Nora runs up and cover behind you and fires with her short bow. Oh, you know what? I'll roll Nora over here with you guys. And actually, I already rolled it off to the side, so I'll just do this so you can see what I rolled.
Nice.
So she opens fire with her short bow and does this much damage. Nice. So that's 8 on this. He takes it a very tough hit, and he's feeling it.
Which guy?
No, not this guy right here.
Okay.
And now it's Crench.
All right. Well, I see everything going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and charge in and see if I can get everybody's attention. I'm
gonna guess you'll be successful.
gonna go here. I'm gonna rage, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my mace with the one hand to swing away.
Does that mean you've got your shield?
So that's 22 to hit.
That will hit, yes.
All right. So D10. That'll be 11 damage. 11 bludgeoning damage.
You see the did you see the bonus damage too for raging?
No, actually, sorry, 13.
All right.
Jesus.
So
One-handed.
you see this half-orc charge into the clearing, screaming, and just crumple this poor guy. One foul swoop down.
One-handed, shouldn't it be a D8 though, not a D10?
Ooh, you're right.
Oh.
It is a D8.
My bad.
Let it stand. Let it stand.
We'll tell you what. We'll let it stand because even without his bonus rage damage, we'll call it a wash.
Okay.
Because 11 was enough to crumple him anyway.
So I almost one-shot this other dude too when I
You're
hit
pretty
him.
close. You're pretty close to it. Yeah.
All right, and
Merrick.
that's it.
Merrick, you're up.
So I got that guy stumbling towards me.
Yeah.
So all those three guys are turned towards.
Towards the direction of where somebody shot at them.
So they're not turned. They're not turned towards Crunch.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
He,
Right.
he just busted through the trees and
Bursted
caved
out
the
of
guy's
trees and
skull
just
in.
crumpled the guy with. They're looking this way, like that.
Okay. Because I'm trying to decide if my best option is to drop a bonfire on top of them, or deal with the dude out in the woods. What do you guys think?
That's for you to decide, man.
Okay.
Go big or go home, dude.
All right, I'm gonna drop a bonfire on the three dudes in the
Oh, you know what we didn't do with Andrew? Your prep spell list. We need to do that next time.
Yes.
Did you have the 3 spells you have prepped?
The three spells. So bonfire is actually a cantrip.
Okay, perfect. All right.
So I was gonna cast a create bonfire on those on
Let's
those
see.
three dudes.
I'm not familiar with that spell, so let's see what this bad boy does.
It is in the player's companion book.
Player's handbook. Yeah.
It's a dex save, 60-foot range.
Did I totally miss it?
Bonfire ignites flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried.
Is it in the player's handbook?
No, it's in the player's companion guide.
Player's companion guide. What the hell is
So
that?
it fills a 5-foot
So
cube,
that's one guy.
and it must succeed on a dex save or take 1d8 fire damage.
We'll have to point where that is. Okay, so that's one. So that's a cantrip. You said, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and so a successful dex save, and he doesn't take damage. Yeah.
I believe that's correct. Let me see.
Basically,
I
succeed in dexterity or take damage, right? Okay, so his dex save is 12. What's your spell DC? I think is
It's higher
12.
than that.
I don't think so. I think it's actually 12. It should
Where-
be on your last page, Andrew, the very back page with the
Yeah, it's 12.
spells on it. 12.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I thought because it's 8 plus his wisdom, which is 12. So you see him launch a little globe.
Well, it should be plus proficiency as well.
I don't think for saving throws. I think only for ranged touch, like spell attacks.
I'm not sure. We'll have to look it up.
Well, I mean,
later.
I've got the sheet right here. It'll say. Hold on. Let's see. This will take 2 seconds. Better to know because it makes the difference.
This is the PDF I'm working with, Goose.
Yep, that's what I'm looking up. Oh, actually, I lied. It doesn't say. Okay.
How long does it stay?
Yeah, I can't even find that, so I'm not sure where that is.
Well, we can look it up later.
Yeah, we can.
All right, so this thing takes up 1 5-foot cube essentially.
Right. So
Okay.
it's
Oh, it lasts a minute, so it's going to be there for 10 turns.
So this is the square it's in here. Oh, actually, hold on. I forgot I can do this. Watch this. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ah.
Fire.
So does it hurt him, or how does that work?
So he did make if the DC is calculated how I think it is, he did make his saving throw. Spell DC 8 plus your proficiency plus your wisdom. You're correct, Grendel. So it wouldn't be 12, then it would be actually 14. Right, in which case he failed it. So go ahead and roll 1d8 damage.
1d8 damage.
And if he stays there, he'll take another D8 damage on his next turn.
Damn.
So you guys see a bonfire spontaneously erupt out of the ground, and this guy starts to burn his pinky toe. He's hopping up and down on one foot.
Hot, hot, hot.
Hot, hot. Amen, you're up.
Alrighty. So we have one guy dead altogether?
Correct. Can you not hear it, Jay? There is music.
Ooh,
Nah, I can't hear it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, music ended.
Real. On my
It
end,
comes
it's
and
playing.
goes.
But we can do this. Did you hear it now?
Yes.
Here you go.
Yep.
Alrighty. I'll attack the middle guy's one hobbling, right?
He's the one that has had his pinky toe set on fire.
He
Why
has
not?
taken 1
Let-
damage.
Let's go for it. Let's see what happens.
He's looking rough.
16.
This is with a short bow?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that hits.
Is this, No, it's not. Never mind. Short bar 1d6.
Feels bad.
So not only does he get his toe set on fire, but now he has a arrow in his other pinky toe.
That's okay.
Oh, come on!
All right. Lucian. Why do I
It's-
spell your name as Lucius over here? Is it Lucius? No, Lucian.
It's supposed to be Lucius. I
Oh.
wrote it wrong.
Okay, in that case, I wrote it right on your character. So Lucius.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Lucius. So these two guys right here would constitute being within 5 feet of each other, yes?
That is correct.
I will be casting Told the Dead on the guy in the middle. I believe it has a 60-foot range. That's 5. Yeah, they're within 60 feet.
Okay.
So, Told the Dead. Give me just a second here. Let me get that one pulled up. Where'd it go? Had it up. Okay. Needs to succeed on a Wisdom saving throw. If the target is injured, he will take 1d12. If he is not injured, he will take 1d8. So the uninjured guy will take a d8.
So this one and this one.
Correct.
We're actually both injured.
They're both injured. They'll both take a
Nora,
d12.
Nora shot that one.
Okay. They'll both take a d12 then if
So
they fail the wisdom.
wisdom saving throw DC what?
My DC will be
13-ish probably.
13.
Huh, good guess. Okay. Bandit number 1 fails. Bandit number 2 fails. So go ahead and roll
Okay.
damage.
Roll 1. First guy takes 9. And the other guy takes 7.
So is that the one where it actually makes a bell sound? Is that the Toll the Dead one?
Yeah.
You guys hear a oddly haunting, kind of depressing single dong of a bell, and then these two guys randomly crumple to the ground. That brings
We'll
up...
say there's blood dripping out their ears, eyes, and mouth.
Sure,
Why-
yeah, why not?
Flavor.
That brings up the bandits.
Oh, you're gonna get flanked?
Is it a +2 when they flank? Is that what the rule is?
Well, flank they have to be on directly opposing, and they give each other advantage.
They give each other advantage. Good to know.
Mhm.
All right, so bat guy. Okay, that one 21 will hit. No, 19. Will 19 hit?
Yes.
Okay. Other guy rolled a 20 and a 1, so that won't. Oh, that will hit. That's a critical hit,
it's-
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll do it. So first guy I was
Remember,
thinking
crits,
disadvantage, but
you double the dice.
correct. Double the dice, not the damage, which they used to do the other way. So 3, 5, and 6, whatever that totals out to be.
So that is also what kind of damage is that?
Bludgeoning. Oh, you're gonna have resistance to all of it, right?
That's halved for my rage.
Okay. So the 3 turns into a 1 because I believe it's always rounded down.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So 3 turns into a 1, and then
5's a 2.
well, the 5 and the 6 are from the same source though. So it actually
So
becomes
11 total.
it actually becomes 11, which
for
becomes
5. Okay. All right.
so 6 total damage.
Not that much.
I grunt a bit of a nod of acknowledgement at the guy that hit me for 5, and just kind of shake my head at the guy that hit me for 1.
You go first. All right. Let's see.
What about has guy that's within 10 feet of me moved or done anything, or is it his
Not
turn?
yet. He is going to take a disengage action. 10, 20, and run.
If he didn't disengage, he was about to get cut down.
Yeah.
And you see this guy start yelling for help over here, and then fire blindly into the woods again.
Which guy?
That guy.
Okay.
That guy.
It's that guy.
14, Jeremy.
Alrighty. So, I am going to. How do I
Ac-
ping?
Click and hold.
Okay, that guy
Uh-huh.
is going to get fired at.
Okay, no, just 14 hit though.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm really tired. No,
know
it
you
does
are.
not.
No, it does not. Perfect. All right. So maybe it clicks off your studded leather. Your hiding spot doesn't seem to be doesn't seem to be very hidey. This guy is attacking the gnome. He rolled high on his perception check and finally found you. 12 hit or no?
Me?
Andrew,
What's that?
what's your armor class?
My armor class is more than that. I was just looking at it.
14 or 15.
14, I think. 14, yeah.
Okay, so he attacks you and fails. And now it's Nora who's up.
Nor should come kill the guy trying to hurt me.
She drops her bow, grabs her sword, and attacks. She hits.
Hey. I'm starting to get a thing for Nora.
Wait, who did she fire at?
She attacked this guy with her sword.
Okay, so she gets sneak attack.
Why would she get sneak attack?
Because according to the player's handbook, sneak attack, you don't need advantage on the attack roll if another enemy of the target is within 5 feet of it.
I'm threatening.
Right.
Yeah, it's if she's engaged with another of your allies.
Yeah.
So if she is a rogue, then she would get sneak attack.
She's not a rogue.
Oh.
She's
You're
a
an
ranger.
asshole.
There you go.
Oh, you dick. I'm not falling in love with her anymore. As if my rolls are bad enough. You gotta take that away from me?
Whoops.
Well, if she was a rogue, she would have gotten sneak attack.
Noted.
All right. You see her grab her, draw her short sword, and oh, I forgot she actually gets to attack twice.
What?
Hey.
And that one doesn't do it though. Or wait, maybe it does.
Modifiers?
Oh yes, it does actually.
Yeah, don't be taking that away with us. The way I'm rolling, we need everything we can get.
Right. I'm kind of wishing we had those other two with us right about now.
I know, right?
Or
So
stealth
she
wasn't
goes
really
in
that
and-
effective anyway.
Drops that dude, and now it's Crench's turn.
All
We've
right.
already killed 4 of them. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Another one's about to die right now.
So, the guy that hit me with the crit, was that the guy on top or the guy on bottom here? Yeah, okay, so I'm going after him.
Yep. You go first.
Yeah. Ooh, that is going to be an 11 to hit.
No, he ducks out of the way just in time. I think you gave him a shave.
With the hammer, that's pretty impressive.
I know. That's how close it was.
All right.
A shave and a haircut.
That's it.
That would bring it up to Merrick.
So should I?
We got
Here, I'm gonna
this
go ahead.
guy down here running too.
You've
Which
got
one?
this guy who's stomping through the woods behind you.
So I'm gonna cast Thorn Whip on him.
All right, on this guy.
Yeah, the dude.
Oh, shit. This guy. Okay. What does Thorn Whip do?
It lets me kick his ass.
Yeah, if you pretty much hit him, he's gonna die.
So I'm pulling up the. Where's his spell? I see it, but I don't see the definition of it.
Hold on. I'm looking.
This music is intense.
And
Yeah.
Intense rule looking up.
There it is. There, that's it.
Create a long violent whip covered in thorns and lashes out at your command toward a creature in range. Is it
Brian,
10
I
feet
can't
away?
hear you.
That is out of range, actually.
Yeah, turn the music down just a couple notches.
I can't hear anything over the music.
Range is 30 feet. That's
But
I can pull him 10 feet closer to me if I choose.
Oh, okay. You could along with that lash out at command toward a creature in range. So make a lash at command. Target hits. So you still make a melee spell. Make a melee spell attack. And it's pulled
Yep.
10 feet closer to you. Okay, so make a melee spell attack.
So roll a what?
D20.
So roll a d20 and
Proficiency in wisdom.
proficiency in wisdom, yeah. So that's good enough, I'm sure.
12.
12 with 2, 14 plus 4 is, 20. Okay, that definitely hits. So roll 1d6 piercing damage.
D6. 3.
And you can yank him close if you want to,
I'm gonna pull him.
unless he's dead.
He's
You can
not-
still yank him close.
Well, yank his carcass closer.
I'm gonna yank
Come
him.
here.
Yeah, right up to Amon. So he's at Amon's feet.
Oh, like here? Well, that'd be like right there.
That'd be 10
'Cause if it's-
feet. So
You
it'd be-
can. Well, if you want him towards him, though, that would be it. Because he's pulling it towards you. He's got to be like here or here or here.
Okay, yeah, put
If
him.
you do it here, that's like away from you. That's just kind of weird.
Yeah, so put him there
Yeah, there you go.
because he was
Is
trying
that
to.
guy still alive?
But yes, he is.
Like he's got to have like 1 hit point.
He's having the worst day of his life.
It's on death's door.
All
So-
right.
With cantrips, is it 1 cantrip per turn or how?
You
does
can always only cast 1 spell a turn, except for in some really weird exceptions. But generally speaking, you're only casting 1 spell per turn.
Okay, even the cantrips are only
Even
one.
the cantrips, right?
Okay.
So
Well, if you do cast a spell, you can sometimes cast a cantrip as a bonus action, but you
I don't-
can't ever cast 2 spells or 2
Correct.
cantrips.
yeah,
Okay.
and I don't think he as a druid will ever be able to do that really anyway.
I'm not sure. That's something I'd have to look up.
Okay,
I don't know druids very well.
but the point is I've cast my thorn whip.
Right.
I've done
So
my thing.
basically, you've taken your action, and now you can move if you want to. You can move in an action, or action, move, action, move.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and
You could run up to him and can he attack him now?
Casting
Yeah.
a spell takes the attack action.
Yeah, that's the action.
so I'm gonna move to right there.
That brings us to Amon.
Drawing a weapon, is that a free action or move
Yes,
action?
no, it's a free action.
Cool. Drop the bow. Pull out the rapier.
All right.
And I'm going to take my bonus action first to try to hide.
Okay.
You're just gonna
Please, right.
overkill the shit out of this guy.
I really want to just murder the fuck out of
Okay.
somebody.
Roll a stealth check.
15.
Okay, you successfully hide from him.
I
He
attack.
doesn't seem to be looking too hard for people since he's bleeding from a pretty grotesque chest wound, and
Yep.
some random angry bush just came out of there and attacked him and dragged him through the forest.
Yep.
The left side of the campfire is like normal combat. The right side is like, what the hell?
Jeremy, you tripped over that same log again.
I'm murdering this character. Take this rapier and commit seppuku.
Lucian, you're up.
Soda.
I am moving. No, that's the wrong thing. I'm moving to right here,
Hey.
Okay, that's
and
10 or 15.
I have 10-foot reach, and I am flanking, so I
Yes,
have
you are.
advantage.
You do.
I'm gonna smack that guy. I'll take the
Ooh.
16. Sure, why not? So that's an 18 to hit,
That'll do it.
and that is
You only have a +2 to hit with that thing?
yeah.
Oh.
I've got 14 strength.
Well, you get your proficiency bonus. You're proficient with it, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true. Never mind. So yeah, that's sorry. It's a 20.
I mean, it still hits, but I know your proficiency bonus was 2. I figured you had some kind of strength bonus.
Ah,
Man.
So
3 damage.
You
3
go in there
damage.
and dramatically scratch his back.
It's 3 damage. I have some strength behind it.
All right, Bandit's turn.
Now the question is, will they give up their flanking bonus? Because Jay will now have flanking on that guy because I'm threatening him.
Oh, we got people coming out of the shadows on the other side. Uh-oh.
Cool.
More enemy. More. Oh god, they might have crossbows. That's okay, I'm resistant.
You're resistant.
to piercing as well.
Where's Whirlwind when you need it?
Yeah. Didn't see that one in the player handbook, but it would be nice.
Cleave.
Right.
All right.
Level 5, I'll go
We're
over
gonna
more.
start. So this guy. He's going to disengage. Back up a little.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
No,
He
because
disengaged.
because he used a disengage action.
Okay.
So he doesn't get to do anything else. All he did was run.
Right.
But it also did remove their flanking bonus from you.
Sure.
That's true. Critical fumble. 20 hits Jay, right?
Yes.
All right. So this guy stubbed his toe, swung and missed wildly. You get to laugh at him as he fell.
Okay.
This guy, though, did 4 points of damage. Halved would be 2.
All right.
This guy fires a. I keep forgetting you guys can't see when I click on him. This guy rolls a crossbow attack on Lucius, and he rolls a 20.
That'll hit me.
That'll do. And it does 5 points of damage.
They're not your ordinary bandits, man. These guys are.
And this guy is, well, there's a lot of them. And you guys are second level.
That's fair.
So
This
Goose,
guy's gonna
I just read something from the rule book.
fire away.
A spell cast with a bonus action is especially swift. You must use a bonus action on your turn to cast the spell, providing that you already haven't taken a bonus action. You can't cast another spell during this turn, except for a cantrip with a casting time of 1 action. So you can cast a spell as a bonus action.
I'll have to review that. We're not going to worry about that tonight, but we'll look it over before next session. So this guy is going to make a melee attack onto Merrick and rolls an 18. Dives in at Merrick, catching him in, I don't know, the shoulder, the chest for 6 points of damage on Merrick.
You have a range of 10?
This guy?
Yeah, he's kind of kitty corner.
No, that's fine.
You can be catty
Oh, okay.
corner.
Yeah,
That counts as 5? Okay.
This counts 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time you can't do diagonal is if there's like you can't go kitty corner like through a wall or a tree or
Okay.
or even clip it necessarily. So like if there were a wall like here, you couldn't go that way.
Sure.
All right. That is it for the bandits. It is Nora's turn. She is going to move in and attack that there. Defend the gnome from the crazy guy. She hits once for a whopping 6 points of damage. Not gonna lie, Nora might be the most impressive amongst the group.
Hey, I killed 2 of them.
That's one hit.
Hey,
Okay.
I shot one in the toe.
Jeremy's brought the comedic value, that's for sure.
So I would like to move around to here. Can I do that without giving any attacks of opportunity?
Not unless you use a disengage action to do it.
And okay. All right. Oh, because the guy that's kitty corner to me would hit me.
Right.
Okay. Then I'll just attack the guy above me here. This guy.
That one.
How much damage did I take, by the way, Goose? Was it 5?
5, yes.
Ooh, yeah, that is a 24 to hit.
That will, in fact, hit.
All right. So a D8 plus 6, so 9 damage.
All right. This guy is screaming for his mother
Oh.
and now regretting his life decisions.
Same guy that stubbed his toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, bummer.
Merrick.
Okay, this guy stabbed me, so I'm pissed. I'm gonna turn into a brown bear and rip his face off.
Well, you can do a black bear, not a brown bear.
I can do a brown bear. The challenge won.
Now, the brown bear's challenge is. Did I confuse them?
Black bear is a.
Oh, 1/2. Right. Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, we did that. You're right. You can't turn into a brown bear. You were correct. Okay. Is the wild shape an action or a bonus action?
That is a wonderful question that you've just
Alright.
asked. Give me a second.
French is gonna hear a distant roar of a bear and just slowly smile.
You can use your action, okay, unless you're. So it does take an action unless your circle gives you something different. You can use the wild shape on your turn as a bonus action. There you go. So you can use it as a bonus action and still attack.
Yeah, so I'm ripping this fucker's face off.
Okay. So a brown bear has multi-attack. You make 2 attacks, one with the bite and one with its claws.
And,
So go
and
ahead.
The way I'm mutating too is my stuff's like mutating with me. I don't want to do the whole drop in the ground thing as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah, of course not. Nobody wants to do that.
Cool. So yeah. So I
Okay,
need
so go ahead and roll a bite attack.
D20. 10.
Plus 5 is 15. That would hit. Go ahead and roll your other attack at the same time too. So roll to hit again. That one will not quite do it. So go ahead and roll damage on the bite attack. Would be 1d8 plus 4. So 9. Oh, sorry. 9 points of damage. So you turn into a bear and maul this guy to death.
Fucker.
That's so casual.
Little 2-foot gnome turned into a goddamn bear.
And now it's Jeremy's turn.
All right, I'm gonna attempt to
Oh,
attack.
you know what? I'm sorry. I actually forgot to. He would have disengaged and run. That would have been his action. I didn't do anything with him last time.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Is he bleeding out? Because like, is he just gonna die as he runs away from here?
No, as long as he escapes with 1 hit point, he'll eventually recover.
Like if bleeding out, if you get down to 0 hit points, you're bleeding out on the ground, and then you start doing death saves.
Although there are some things that will make you lose hit points every turn. In which case, if he had that on him, he would eventually get there. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay. So I'm gonna use my action, my bonus action to dash.
Okay.
To here.
All right.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, and of course I get my sneak attack, assuming I hit, which I'm not going to because yeah, we know how that
What's
goes.
especially dramatic is jumping, vaulting over the campfire to make your surprise attack.
No, no,
You
I
come out
won't.
from the fire.
Just let it happen. There it is.
Does he get flanking bonus?
If he were here, he would.
Okay.
But he does not hit with a 3 because that log may have followed him. He may have like dragged it with him over there.
Seriously, what setting did you put on me?
The Jeremy setting.
No, but really, what setting? There's no way.
Lucian, you're up.
I
Lucian.
am going to 5-foot step back so that I am in darkness. And then I am going to cast
Toll of the Dead. Drop down. Can you guys hear me?
Such suspense.
I know.
Lucian is typing.
No.
Nope.
That was probably the best timing I think I've ever heard of a.
I know. I'm going to cast.
I'm going to cast.
All right. Wisdom save DC 13, right? Okay. Guy on the left. Negatory. Guy on the right. Negatory.
Nice.
So roll your damage for each.
These guys are not very wise.
The one on the left, this one is, the other one is not.
3 to the left. 3 to the right.
All right. That is Lucian. Now he's going to go fix his mic, and it is the bandit's turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, he is somewhere way out of here. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do, actually. Let's do it this way. He's a little flag icon because he ran away. All right. He is taking a disengage action and running off somewhere over here.
Without running away, little bitches.
Well, yeah. All right, that brings up Nora, who saunters into the clearing. Crunch.
I think I am going to start heading over towards, let's see. 4.
And unless you attack or get damage, just turn your rage.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. Is I'm thinking I might just go right here and see if I can't. So, oh, did I get an attack of? No, he disengaged.
Disengage.
So yeah, yeah, I'll attack him.
No, you don't. Ah!
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Keep my rage going at least. Oh, sorry, that was the roll die. 20.
Yep.
That would be a 16 to hit.
That will hit.
Do you want me to keep the 8 or re-roll it?
No, I think we re-roll that.
Okay.
Maybe.
That'd be 10. No, sorry, 12. 12 damage.
The X remains.
Okay.
Merrick, did you say something, Grendel? Are you back now?
Yeah, I just want to see if you can hear me.
Yes, we can. All right. Bear.
So I'm a bear and I'm still
Baloo.
Baloo. Am I Baloo? That's fine. I can move. I think if I'm reading this correctly. I can move 40 feet as a bear.
Sounds right.
Dude, bears are actually really fast.
They are really fast.
So I'm gonna go over here so I can look inside of this campfire over here.
Okay. You would see.
So that's just like a person, or is that a bandit?
No, well, that's the two guys that were there a second ago and then ran out, and I deleted them.
Uh huh.
That's them.
Okay, so I was
So they were like down here,
right.
and then they disappeared going that way. So now you see them again.
So I can pursue them some more, or
Well, how far did you move?
I was here. So one,
So
two.
that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 20 feet.
So I can,
So you can move 20 more feet. Also make a perception check.
so does that count as my bear? Or does that count as me as a?
You know what?
Perception would be wisdom based. It's a mental stat, so it would be off of your stat, I think.
Probably. You regain and you stay in the base form.
Dude, I'm just rolling like shit. So I rolled a 8, but I rolled actually.
Yeah, you retain. Your physical scores change. Your mental scores stay the same.
All right, so I rolled a 12.
Okay. Did you get a proficiency and wisdom? You still get all that stuff.
Are you proficient with perception?
No, it's survival and insight.
So no. So you have 20 more feet of movement.
I'm gonna stay in the dark.
All right.
So,
That brings. You do have an action if you want to do something. I don't know what you do, but
yeah, and I'm gonna chill as a bear and stay
Alright.
stay where I'm at.
Jeremy.
I'm gonna move to here.
Okay.
And hide.
Okay. Roll a stealth check.
No.
That means next session you're gonna be a monster.
No, it's not.
Okay. Well.
Do you know
that-
how I know it's not?
How's that?
Because you saw how I rolled my stats.
That's true. I think maybe before the next time you move, you should untie the log.
Yeah.
I think you're just dragging that thing around with you. Lucius.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The ones with the flags, by the way, are actually a little farther away. They're just at the edge. I can't move them.
8. So I'm gonna double move and go there.
All right. That brings us to the bandits.
Do I get to make a perception check?
No, not from where you are.
Okay.
All right.
So they are cutting and running.
Yep. Nora puts her sword away and then starts walking over here to look for her bow. Crench?
Alright, let's see. I think I can get there.
So that looks about right.
And yeah, I'll just start trying to take deep breaths and walk it off a little bit.
All right. Merrick.
So is this? I can't click on that person.
This?
Yeah, is that?
That's one of the wounded nobles on the ground
Okay.
right there.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna stay in the dark. I like being in the dark. 1, 2,
Alright.
3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So each one of these is 5 feet.
Correct.
So 8
Yeah.
feet.
You can move 8 hexes or
Yeah.
squares.
So staying in the dark, I can get to here, and I'm going to do a perception check.
Okay.
So 20.
That'll do. There you go.
Cool.
That brings up Jeremy.
So we just got. Is there anybody left?
Not really. These two guys. I mean, basically, it's kind of done unless you're gonna really start trying to run these guys down to the
Nah,
forest.
I'm gonna go get my bow.
Okay. That.
I'm over here.
Do we need to stay in initiative order?
No, we do not.
All right.
And like I said, unless any of you are actively trying to run these people down,
No,
I'm gonna continue trying to kill them.
you're gonna chase them through the night.
I have a 120-foot range on Chill Touch. I can get at least one of those guys.
Well, it's not a matter of getting them; it's a matter of seeing them, probably.
Fair. Well, I probably actually wouldn't have even seen him. So yeah, my guy's probably done.
Well, I mean, when you came up to here, you would have probably seen these two guys break out of the camp light and run off in this direction. You know,
Yeah.
these ones up here.
By the way, did I see their leader among the corpses?
No. Make a perception check though.
I have. Okay, that'd be a 14.
Okay. That was him. So you recognized him right as you came to this opening here of the before he broke through the trees. All right.
I'll probably yell out after him. Next time, take the safer deal, friend.
And that is where we'll pick up next week.
All right.
Boom,
Sweet.
boom, boom.
Lesson
Well,
learned.
well.
Take the safer deal, everybody.